The New York Yankees are the top team in the American League East. The most successful franchise in all of sports find themselves in first place. With a nice nucleus of young players, the Yankees once again are building another championship caliber team. The Athletics have been playing some good baseball. 5 wins in their last 7 games have Bob Melvin and the boys climbing their way back to the 500 mark. The A's and the Yankees meet in Game 2 from the Bronx, and it starts right now. A little overcast, but a very nice day at Yankee Stadium as we get set for Game 2 of the series. Big win last night for the A's, and today, the big fella, left-hander CC Sabathia will pitch for the Yankees. And just called up from the minor leagues, it'll be Jarrell Cotton to pitch for the A's. So that's your pitching matchup. Oakland A's, New York Yankees coming up on NBC Sports California, presented by Black Bear Diner. Hey again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fossey, I'm Glenn Kuiper. A's have a very hot hitter right now. His name is Jed Lowry. And Ray, last night you get your hottest hitter up in the biggest point in the game, and Lowry came through in the 8th inning.
Well, coincidentally, a 7-game hit streak, but he had 7 consecutive hits coming into last night, or actually through last night, but came up with a huge hit. He had the hits on Wednesday afternoon at the Coliseum. Of course, last night he continued with a couple of hits beginning. He did make it out, but the biggest hit came later. That ball the opposite field when they shifted him to the right side, but he came up with a huge hit. And to talk about protection, Matt Joyce had a walk in front of him. That put him at first base. Rajay Davis scored the first run of the ball game. The A's would add 3 more. Jed Lowry is as hot as anybody in baseball. It's fortunate we get to watch him.
So the A's rotation a little bit of beat up. Jesse Hahn goes to the disabled list this morning, and Jarrell Cotton back from the minor leagues. So let's hope that this is the time that Jarrell Cotton kind of figures it all out, gets some consistency, and maybe stays here the rest of the year.
You know, he's happy to be back with the Athletics. He was saying yesterday could not have a better place. He's never pitched at Yankee Stadium, but if he matches what Sean Manaea did last night, it should be a great outing for him as well. But I think sometimes going back to minor leagues, you might learn some things, and I think Jarrell Cotton said he's happy to be back. He learned a lot in the 2 starts that he made at AAA.
All right, the A's know all about CC Sabathia. No secrets there, and the big fella from Vallejo is looking for his 5th win of the year. So that's your matchup, Cotton and Sabathia, for Game 2 of the series. A's trying to make it 2 in a row over the Yankees. Well, lineups and first pitch from Yankee Stadium right after this. with a W at the end of the day.
Yeah.
He's trying to make it 2 in a row over the Yankees. Another very nice day. A little overcast, but it is not going to rain. Nothing like that. CC Sabathia, big left-hander, strides to the mound. He'll get his warm-up tosses started. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. 68 degrees. You see a little breezy, a little cloudy. But all in all, good day for baseball. And a good win last night for the A's. 4-1. They scored late and then hung on. And as you see the uniforms, both teams wearing the uniforms with just a touch of camouflage in
That's
them.
it. They're run for 3 consecutive starting today through Memorial Day in Cleveland on Monday.
A's lineup this afternoon is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and here it is. Rajay Davis, Mark Canha, Jed Lowry, the top 3. Chris Davis in the usual cleanup spot. Then Healy's at first. Kloof's at third. Chan Pinder will DH. Josh Fegley is your catcher, and the shortstop is Adam Rosales.
And the veteran CC Sabathia, Vallejo, California on the mound for the Yankees, and 4-2 on the season. The big man, of course, at one time when he pitched for the Tribe and he faced the Athletics, and it was either played in Oakland or televised back to the Bay Area, he didn't like it. But now he's a veteran, made his mark in Milwaukee when he pitched every 3 days, and signed a huge contract with the Yankees. Final year of his contract, but still a veteran and very good pitcher.
Defensively for the Yankees today, Gardner will be in left, Hicks in center, Judge in right. Ronald Torreyes is the third baseman, Didi Gregorius at short, Starlin Castro at second, and Chris Carter at first. And Gary Sanchez is your catcher today for the Yankees. So we're set for baseball as Rajay Davis steps into the box.
What in the roll call, why they don't say the umpires' names?
No, can't do that.
That would be something, wouldn't it? Tim Timmons.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
So Sabathia is ready. He kicks and deals the first pitch of the game, and it's right in there for a strike to Rajay Davis. So we're underway at 1:09 local time. 1:09 local time. And a quick 0-2.
CC Sabathia last year faced the A's one time. That was in May the 20th as a roll call beginning in right field.
So they're getting through the roll call, which they try to do as quickly as possible.
Aaron Judge.
Yes, he turns around.
I mean, normally you just recognize to Sharon, Jeter, and but now they've, I don't know how CC, but CC pitched the one game, Kuipen, last year, and you remember on the May the 20th Coliseum, he actually threw a lot of changeups, a lot of off-speed pitches, fastball about 89 to 91, but changeups a lot, especially the right-handers. And Rajay has seen him more times than anybody, but he knows how to pitch against the Athletics. So, of course, mostly with the Cleveland Indians. 15 starts with the Yankees, 7-4 record.
And that's a swing and a miss by Rajay Davis, so the game starts with the strikeout.
Well, a high fastball, and really just 88, not very hard, but upstairs, changed the eyesight, and that's what Darren Bush says he does so well. CC Sabathia may not throw as hard, but between Clippard, a couple of guys that throw a good changeup. You look at the lineup of the umpires, that is, and crew chief. Oh, hear that USA?
Yeah, a little different touch to the roll call as they got through the players, and then they threw up a little USA chant.
And we had a sailor below us. He had a moment of silence. Paul Olden on the microphone as the PA announcer, following the late great Bob Shepard. There are some Navy people that are at the game today. Hope they got free tickets. Let them all in. They do a great job. Thank you for your outstanding service.
2-0 to Mark Canha. Canha got a fastball to hit, fouls it straight back. Wow. Just below us, actually just above us. And sounded like it landed on our counter here. That's our view, and we had a good view. This is a very nice broadcast booth, one of the better ones that we work in around Major League Baseball.
Actually, I think we have a better sight line than the Yankees radio guys. John Sterling, Susan Woman, they're down. They changed to a bigger booth, as the one they were in originally was a little bit too small for them, so they changed so John could walk around a little bit more. He does kind of walk around upstairs.
He just comes in the booth and doesn't say anything and then turns around and leaves.
There they are. Well, Susie John is a great one. He's the only radio broadcaster I've ever known that comes in a tie, shirt and tie, and a jacket. Although today he said Saturday jeans. That's where we are there. And
there's a shot in the left field, a base hit for Canna. So John's going a little casual today. Huh?
Yeah, he said jeans on Saturday. He said, well, you know, Susan's wearing them too.
Okay, well then if Susan's wearing them, then it's okay.
Now Mark Canna very aggressive on this at bat, even though the pitch up at 91, still very aggressive. Hit the ball hard past Torres at third. Chase Headley, who was pinched hit 4 in the 9th inning last night by Sanchez, has the afternoon off, as we're told that trying to get his head together.
Chase Headley. You must have read the newspaper.
No.
Did you read it? Did you
No.
see the headline?
No.
Headley case. Poor guy, he's struggling and.
Well, it doesn't.
Newspapers do not cut you any slack here.
No, and it doesn't help. You got a chance to do something special in the 9th inning. And oh, by the way, you're a left-handed hitter against a right-hander. We're going to put a righty up against the righty.
So you get pinch hit for it, and then you get a headline that says Headley case.
That's a good one. Yeah,
Poor guy.
There he is, Chase Headley, wearing a nice camo hat and sitting and watching today.
0-1 to Jed Lowry, hot hitter.
You know, I like these caps because every player wearing this cap is a 5-star general. They got 5 stars on the side of the caps. There's Chris Carter, and I think on the other side, the right side, you'll see the 5 stars. Chris Carter at first base. So he is Chris today, not CC. CC is, there the 5 stars. See on the right side of Stephen Vogt's hat. That means that all these guys are 5-star generals. That's pretty special. Because when you're a 5-star, you're the best. Stephen Vogt, a big game last night. He observes today. There's CC Sabathia, also a 5-star. Mark Canna was running, thought maybe the ball had gotten past Sanchez, but it was a foul ball.
Strike 3 call. And Will Little's got one of those slow strike 3 calls. So Lowry was called out on strikes.
Well, the backdoor curveball. Let's check the pitch, guys. Look where he's set up and where the ball is. That is not a clock, not a strike. That came around the plate. It's not where the catcher catches it. It's where it crosses the plate, Mr. Little, because that pitch came around, and that's why Jed Lowry stayed at the plate as long as he did.
So 2 outs, and here's Chris Davis.
Yeah, you made a good point that it's a tough pitch for a hitter because it's coming around. You give up on it, but then if it's called a strike, makes it even harder on the hitter.
Yeah, it looks like it's about 4 feet outside as it's coming in. 226 for Chris Davis, 14 home runs and 29 RBIs. Had a big RBI last night in the 8th inning. Couple of hits last night. Taps this one foul. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, there's a changeup, and CC Sabathia has developed a very good changeup. At one time, he just blow guys away.
There's your pitch selection. So more sliders than fastballs.
Yeah, how about that?
Well, he used to run it up to 95, 96 miles an hour. Not the case anymore. I think he could still pitch, and I think if he wants to, he could probably pitch for a little while. Yeah? See if that is the case, as Ray mentioned. Well, Sabathia will be a free agent after this year.
From Vallejo, maybe Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach now, could see him in a green and gold.
Sure.
From Vallejo, California.
Maybe he'll come back to the Bay Area.
Larry Rothschild, former manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, great pitching coach. Let's see. That pitch was better than one called out Jed Lowry. That came around, and Will Little didn't call it. Pitch cast, and similar, and you get it once, and really if you call it once, it should have been a strike again, but did not call it, and maybe there was some yelling from the A's bench, especially Jed Lowry after being called out on the pitch.
Goes with a fastball outside on 3-1. He misses, so Davis with the walk.
You watch Gary Sanchez And I tell you, if I'm an umpire, maybe not behind the plate, you can't see it, but one of the umpires, when a catcher takes a ball clearly out of the strike zone and jerks it back in to the strike zone and try to get a strike, first of all, umpires don't like it, but it may take one of the guys on the field to see that and then inform the home plate umpire. But you know, there are catchers that do it, and they talk about framing, but if it's out of the strike zone, the umpire should call it that way and not where the catcher brings it back into the strike zone.
So first inning opportunity for the A's as Healy steps up, and the first pitch misses outside.
Thing Sanchez can do is hit and throw, and may not see a lot of base runners attempting to steal because of his ability to throw so well.
So 1-0 to Healy. Can at second, Davis at first. Quick throw to second base, and it's knocked down by Castro. Hey, today any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Draw cards ready to go, man.
Ready.
Let's go.
Yeah.
He looks like a middle infielder that's going to head out to his position, but he's actually the starting pitcher. Usually they're sitting down, drinking some water, jacket on.
Sitting by themselves. No friends on the day they pitch.
Swinging and a miss. Healy on 2-0, pulled off a little bit as Sabathia took a little long.
One thing that we've seen over the years at Yankee Stadium, because typically it's so hard to hit a ball out to left center, right center. You have to go down the line, especially left field against a left-handed pitcher. Right-handers have to be concerned more about pitches outside, and that's smart pitching, catching. Occasionally go inside just to show a pitch, but more than anything,
down the right field line into the corner and foul.
If you try to pull the outside pitch, you're going to hit a lot of fly balls left center, center field.
So 2-2 the count. Sabathia double glance back, kicks and deals, and that one is a bit outside. Came around the plate, 3-2.
Well, again, outside, and this one even worse. Still go back to Jed Lowry's wasn't a particularly great pitch.
So the runners will take off with a full count, 2 outs. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Stayed off speed. So A's strand a pair. Sabathia strikes out 3 in the first inning. Bottom of the first. Here's the Yankees lineup. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Gardner, Sanchez, Holiday, Castro, Judge, Gregorius, Hicks, Carter, and Torres.
And Jharel Cotton back on the mound for the Athletics. First ever time at Yankee Stadium, and he is happy to be back. He's happy to be here in Yankee Stadium. He said, what a place to be recalled to. And he hopes to stay in the big leagues now. A couple of starts at the minor league level. But he is back, making the start today, and he's here for a reason, and that is to pitch well, because it seems like the starting pitchers are falling like flies. That's some good-looking cleats, good-looking socks, and Jharel Cotton. Wow.
That's the full deal right there.
That's why Steve Vucinich had to bring extra trunks with all this equipment, but they look nice, Vuce. Good job. 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Memorial Day.
Cotton's first pitch to Brett Gardner is high. Gardner at 275 with 9 home runs, 20 RBIs. 0 for 3 with a walk last night.
That walk, the first batter, 4 pitches out of the strike zone by Sean Manaea.
Manaea then did not walk anybody else the rest of the game, and Sean Manaea got the win, heating up his record at 3-3. Well, both starting pitchers deserved a win last night, but it doesn't work that way.
I think if you look, and both managers very good at what they do. Masahiro Tanaka came out, and then he ended up getting the loss when the bullpen let him down a little bit. But the one thing Melvin did, and he left the starting pitcher in. He extended Sean Manaea, who never thrown as many pitches as he did last night. And because of that, able to get through the 7th inning. The A's scored in the 8th, and he picked up the win. Tanaka started the 8th. Got a man on and ended up coming out of the game.
Two and 2 the count to Brett Gardner. And Gardner on a foul tip, hung on by Fegley. Gardner strikes out. So 1 away here in the bottom of the first. The A's defensively have Davis, and Canna in the outfield. Plouffe, Rosales, Lowry, and Healy on the infield, with Fegley doing the catching. So with 1 out, Gary Sanchez steps in. So we just talk about the newspapers here in the great headlines. So Masahiro Tanaka, Masahiro, so his nickname is Hero. Headlines this morning: 0 for Hero. It's the best.
And the problem,
0 for Hero.
The thing that happens, the scribes will write the story. It's somebody in the office that will do the headlines, and somebody
spends a lot of time.
Yeah.
And it's worth just buying the newspaper. 0 for Hero. One and 1 the count to Gary Sanchez, who pinch hit last night, and he made the final out of the game.
Well, a scouting report on him is he likes to extend his arms, which most hitters like to. So if you can pitch him inside, ideally, and make the pitch well enough inside. Casilla accidentally pitched it in last night, and they got him. But I don't know too many hitters that say I like the fastball in. They want to be able to extend and either pull it or go with the pitch the opposite field. And Sanchez has proven he's got plenty of power to do whatever he wants to do and not try to pull everything. It's a fastball inside.
Up and away. So 3-1 to Sanchez. He'll be ready to take a rip at this one. If it's close, it's not. Up and away.
Time now for the Nissan keys of the game, and for Jharel Cotton, welcome back. 2 starts in Nashville. He said the first one, his head wasn't on straight. He said, I figured out I better get back to the big leagues and pitch well. He pitched well in the second game, and that's what got him back to big leagues. And for the catchers, Josh Fegley on Wednesday. He blocked 15 with Sonny Gray last night as we had Stephen Vogt on as a guest. Went off speed after 4 consecutive fastballs out of the strike zone to Brett Gardner. Manaea 7 innings. Sonny Gray picked up the win. Actually, both pitchers picked up wins, but I know maybe biased because of catchers, but it takes at times a catcher to do his job. And Fegley definitely did it, blocking 15, and Stephen Vogt last night spectacular, not to mention his 2-run home run.
1-0 the count to Matt Holliday.
And Voter gets to help Josh Fegley today with regard to the pitch calling. That's what's nice about having 2 bullpen catchers, that the extra catcher can sit on the bench.
Holliday takes a strike. Tough night last night for Matt Holliday. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
That's probably why he swung at the first pitch fastball in the 9th inning after Hicks had walked. And the Yankees down 4 runs, but he got a fastball and didn't want to wait around.
Fegley with a nice block, kind of picked it. Bob Melvin in the Athletics, 22 and 25 on the year, so they're getting close to that 500 mark.
Breaking ball, and actually at breaking ball you expect it to be on the other side. It stayed inside, and that's why Fegley had to go to the emergency catch almost instead of a block. Fegley very athletic behind the plate, and he showed that especially on Wednesday with Sonny Gray. As everybody knows, you have to be able to move around behind the plate with Sonny when he pitches his best. His pitches move all over the place, and a curveball and slider have to bite very sharply in the dirt. That's where the catcher does his job.
And Holliday takes up and in, and it hit him.
Changeup.
Holliday will trot to first base.
Well, I got him with the change. It just squirted out of his hand, and Holliday went after it and turned actually away at the last instant, but got him on his massive arms as he did turn. And while it stung, it's still not a good fastball. Changeup from it. Wow.
So 23 hit batters by the Athletics, most in the American League. So that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Starlin Castro. Castro had a base hit last night. He was 1 for 4. Good numbers, 326, 7 homers, 27 RBIs. Aaron Judge will be next. Castro takes a strike.
Castro very aggressive swinging the bat, and pitch was supposed to be outside, left it inside.
Castro 6th in the league in hitting, Judge 7th, Lowry 8th, all chasing Gene Segura and Avisail Garcia. Blocked by Fegley.
Well, the skipper knows as a former catcher, he has Marcus Jensen, who works with the catchers and works on the specialty of blocking balls in the dirt, and he's always making a note every time the catcher does his job, and that's important.
Outfield shifted just a little bit toward right field. Chris Davis well off the line and left. Castro does spray the ball around. And that one not even close. Shoots right past Fegley to the backstop. So that's a wild pitch, and Fegley did not even have a chance to block it. It was so far outside.
Well, he just, I mean, that's a spike changeup, and Fegley moved as quickly as he could to the right, but no chance. You're right. And, I mean, it's amazing. He gets a strikeout, the first batter, and then a walk and a hit batter. Now you have to be very calm to pitch at Yankee Stadium. There have been some pitchers in the past who would not even dream about pitching here, and I'm trying to think of one pitcher who signed with the Yankees and they made it a point that he never pitched at home. He always pitched on the road because he couldn't handle it here.
Who was that? Was that Ed Whitson?
Ed Whitson.
Yeah,
I think it
that's
was,
right.
yeah. Because I was thinking of Whitson, but
I had a few other things going on, I think, Ed.
Yeah, but I remember in particular here, it just. But in Chicago, they used to na for the visiting. I had pitchers. I don't want to ever take it out of the game. Please don't take me out, because they'll start singing that song. Well, you pitch well enough, you don't have to leave mid-inning, because that's when the throngs let out. And this Yankee Stadium, kind of the same way.
Castro drives on the right. Canna's back. Canna's got room on the warning track. He makes the catch, but it'll be plenty deep as Gary Sanchez trots in to score. So the wild pitch comes back to hurt the Athletics. It's a sacrifice fly for Castro, and the Yankees lead 1-0.
Well, you're right. That's exactly what happened. A couple of wild pitches, and next thing you know, and Josh Fegley's done a good job, but not a bad pitch from Jarrell Cotton. But when you're just trying to hit a fly ball with the runner at third, Castro did it perfectly, and even Holiday able to get to third, which is also important considering the wild pitches.
So here's Aaron Judge. First pitch to Judge. He takes low. Judge had a couple of hits last night and a walk, 2 singles. 15 home runs, 30 RBIs. He also has 5 doubles and 3 triples. Good movement that time from Cotton. Fegley sets up outside, and the ball runs well inside. So Aaron Judge, an early AL MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Tied for first in home runs, tied for 9th in RBIs, first in runs. Striking out a lot, but that's okay. 7th in batting average.
And a rookie.
And a rookie. And he's got his own judge's chamber. How they doing out there today? Are they having a good time?
I don't know. All I know is that this kid's a rookie, and they've already named a chamber for him at Yankee Stadium. But as we talked last night, it seems like he can handle everything. And all rise, and they're all rising.
Three and 1 the count. And that one is drilled to center. Hanging up in the air, and
Into the bat,
Rajay Davis. So it sounded good, maybe down on the end, as Ray said, just a little bit. Settles into the glove of Rajay
Thankfully.
Davis. 1 run for the Yankees. Brought to you by McDonald's. The A's have won 4 straight here at Yankee Stadium. Longest winning streak since winning 4 in a row back in 2006. Of course, that was the old stadium. They've outscored the Yankees 19-8. So, recent years, the A's have done a good job here in this ballpark. And last year, the A's came in here early, middle of April, and won 3-2, 5-2, and 7-3. Line drive, and that's a base hit to left field for Trevor Plouffe. So never an easy place to play, Yankee Stadium, but it doesn't seem to bother the Athletics too much.
Except they couldn't handle them when they came to the Coliseum.
Yeah, and even now, last year.
Breaking ball right in the middle of the plate, and CC has been doing well going back door. Having an attempt by Gregorius, no opportunity to catch the ball.
So leadoff man aboard against Sabathia, and here's Chad Pinder. First pitch is up and away.
Just trying to look in left center field at Chad Pinder. If he hit the ball here like he did at the Coliseum, where it would land here, maybe below the Delta sign, because he crushed it in Oakland up in the plaza level.
I think it would have went off the Gatorade sign. Well, remember we mentioned earlier when we saw CC Sabathia with the Indians when he first came up. He was 95, 96, and if he needed a little extra, this is his fastball velocity over the years. And listen, this is not uncommon for any starting pitcher. Generally, the thing that matters is Pinder hit it right down off his foot. The thing that matters is what do you do when you start to lose that velocity?
Exactly.
And it looks like Sabathia, he's always had a good slider, and he still has a good slider. He can still pitch.
And this fastball, 91 inside corner, off the back leg of Chad Pinder, not the front foot, back leg. But no one will ever be better probably than Frank Tanana, who could throw 100 when your brother got a base hit off of him and a no-hitter by Eck in 77, and then became a great finesse pitcher from the left side, pitching great for the Tigers for many years.
There's that slider. 2-2 the count. Sabathia is now in his 17th year in the big leagues.
Had some knee issues a couple of years ago that really affected him.
Among active pitchers, only Bartolo Colon has more wins. Sabathia with 227. He has the most strikeouts among active pitchers, the most complete games. 12 shutouts, third most.
38 complete games. Amazing. Isn't that amazing?
Pinder pops a foul back.
Thinking of the great Gaylord Perry in '72, had 29 by himself.
Sure.
And those guys in Billy Martin era, the Billy Ball in '81, McCaddy, Norris, Keogh, Langford, they all had 30. Because he said, you might as well pitch well. Nobody's going to come in relief of you. And so they did. But CC, a workhorse, and longevity has been outstanding for the Vallejo native.
3-2 pitch. Strike 3 call on a high fastball. Pinder can't believe it.
Said bad call. That's what Melvin said. And of course, they're looking at it from the side. Pitch cast. They want it down. It's a ball. Not even close. Not even close. And you know, well, I'm not going to say it because, but I always say sometimes your reputation will get you things that normally will not. And Pinder taking a pitch, and Melvin, you can see him immediately reacting. I mean, that's a huge strikeout, huge call, because that's, gee.
It's first and second, nobody out.
First and second, nobody out, and he goes upstairs again. CC, they're really backdoor curveball and a high fastball. He's getting both of them. Wow.
So 1-1 the count to Fegley. Plouffe, the runner at first. Another strike called, and it's 0-2.
First and second, nobody out. Runner at first, strikeout, and yeah, that definitely helps the pitcher.
A lot of pitches for Sabathia already. He's at 35. He had to work hard in the first inning when he struck out 3, but stranded a couple. Swing and a miss, struck him out. High fastball.
Well, almost the same pattern as Tanaka last night. Struck out a lot of batters in the first 3 innings. He ended up striking out 13. And here are the pitches, and another high fastball, but you get the call. And all of a sudden, you swing at a pitch, it's out of the strike zone because you watch the umpire call the pitch a strike. You're forced to do it. That's a tough pitch to hit, tough pitch to pick up, and also usually the velocity seems a lot stronger.
Runner goes, throw to second base. Got it.
From his knees.
So Sanchez with a very impressive throw as they gun down Trevor Plouffe. So that's how the top of the second comes to an end. Sanchez from his knees.
Well, that's the biggest thing. Big job by Trevor Plouffe, and you talk about right on the money. And Sanchez really set himself up, turned to the left, and a perfect strike to second base by Castro. And he's able to make the tag easily, catch the ball in plenty of time, catch the ball in front of the bag.
So Didi Gregorius to lead things off for the Yankees here in the bottom of the second. Hicks to follow, and then Carter. Draw Cotton 23 pitches in that first inning. A little all over the place. See if he can rein things in a little bit here in the second inning.
Well, if you've never pitched at Yankee Stadium, take the first inning, get through it, giving up just 1 run, maybe enough to settle him down.
1-1 the count. Gregorius had 323, 3 home runs, 18 RBIs. He had a sacrifice fly last night in the 9th inning when the Yankees were making some noise against Santiago Casilla. Also, he did not have a hit last night. This one hit in the air toward the left field line. Davis over, and Davis into the seats. Not quite. Great effort by Chris Davis. Be careful over there.
Well, there's so little foul territory. You're running hard. You got to stop. And he thought he had a chance. The ball slicing away from him. Concentration, and forgot how close he was. And,
oh, man.
And that is hard up at top. And that's tremendous concentration. But
boy, did you see his
Yeah.
Forearm. That's got to hurt. Well, you see the padding.
Yeah.
But there's always something behind the padding.
Oh, very hard behind it.
And you can see the
yeah.
concrete wall is probably twice as thick as the padding.
And there's your concrete wall, and he got his arm over that. His forearm landed over and on top of the concrete.
Two and two to Gregorius. Inside, and now a full count. Watch his right forearm. Watch right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
He banged it hard.
That is scary.
Yeah, just watch the right arm bang right there, and it kind of buckled his arm. And of course, in that area, you've got a lot of bone.
Tap slowly toward Lowry, who scoops it up, flips to first, and they get Gregorius. So one out here in the second inning. How about this breakdown? Check it out. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Look at the home road splits. Cotton much better on the road. And look at the night day splits, much better during the day. So we got this all set up. Day game on the road. Cotton's going to be good today.
Well,
see, if it was a night game at home, then we'd be worried. But it's a day game on the road. We like our chances.
But you did put that caveat in there called New York. Yankee Stadium, man.
Stadium.
You know the one thing I love about the fans in New York? They don't care who the Yankees are playing. They come out and support their Yankees.
Yeah, they do.
And they want to palm that. And, you know, the worst thing I hear is, well, who are the A's playing? Who cares? Support your team. And these Yankee fans come out to watch and hope that their team can obliterate the visiting team. That's all they care about. They don't care who it is, who's playing. Have a burger. Play for the boss.
Yeah, you're right. It's a great fan base.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're fun to talk to about the Yankees.
That's right.
Something's always wrong.
Yeah.
They love their team. Something's always wrong.
Oh yeah.
But it is fun to talk baseball with Yankees fans or Mets fans. Plus, they'll always have a real strong opinion about your team.
Oh, of course, yeah, exactly.
Whether they know anything about your team or not, they will have a strong opinion.
And probably were shocked that the Yankees didn't win last night and sweep the A's all 3 games this weekend. Because they're saying the A's, look at them, man, who are they? And I mean, I've even had one of the broadcasters said, you guys have any hope, any future? And I go, yeah. These guys are major league players. You never know what can happen.
3-1 the count to Aaron Hicks.
Remember a game that Gio Gonzalez pitched against the Twins? You remember when he gave up like 11 runs? The A's won 13-12 or something. And Gio just gave it up. And he had about 11 ERA coming in. I remember one of the Yankees broadcasters say, well, I don't need any information on this guy. He's not going to last an inning. He went longer than any pitcher ever at Yankee Stadium. 7 innings and allowing just a couple of hits, and just completely different than his previous start against the Twins.
Well, it is the home of the overreaction here in New York, right?
Exactly. That guy's name is Gio Gonzalez, who is now with the Washington Nationals. We'll see him next weekend, but he came in and just lights out against the Yankees here. That they said there's no way. I mean, 11 ERA, but he was outstanding in that game, and it's continued to pitch well for the Nationals.
3-2 pitch, loop foul. I don't think there's any question though. Overreacting about your sports team was born and bred right here.
Absolutely. But you look how long the game's been here, and you know you got every single digit number retired.
Sure.
So there's been a lot of baseball played here. And I mean, 2 magnificent stadiums, the Taj Mahal of baseball that we're in right now. I mean, this is a great place, and they don't need to think about a new one here because they've already got one. It's going to last as long as the old place did, if not longer.
3-2 to Aaron Hicks. And Aaron Hicks goes after a high fastball, pops it up on the infield. Lowry comes in. Rosales shooting over. Easy, Rosie.
Don't scare anybody.
Easy, Rosie. How's Rosie's face today?
Rosie's face looks like he had a 3-way punching last night. The right side of his eye.
He went 5 rounds with
wow.
the dirt.
And the dirt got him. And watch Rosie come out of your picture. All of a sudden, here he comes. He thinks Jet doesn't see it.
He was a little hard on himself last night. I said, Rosie, how you doing? He goes, what was I doing?
Tommy,
Stupid.
give us close up of his right eye, Tommy. And he got it on his.
Pretty good. He's got a pretty good scrape job.
You know, I noticed last night, I asked him about it, he said it's a very sticky dirt. You know, in Oakland, when Clay Wood, see the shiner? I said, how'd the other guy look? But that was, you know, he said, I tried to slide, unlike in Oakland where you can slide and go smoothly. He said, I stuck.
Carter lines one to left. Davis hustling over, and Davis, a nice running catch on the warning track. Side retired. Let's hope Rosie's okay. He went 5 with the champ. Okay, this was his adventurous trot around the bases last night.
Clifford, ill-advised throw to first, goes down the line. Adam Rosales rounding second. He hits into third, head first line. Oh, face plant. Check the right eye. And not only that, the Rajai Davis rolls over on a ground ball, going to home plate. If you think one was bad, another was bad, and it lands on the bat. And there's the shiner on the right side. And he's back in there today. Callie, his wife, if you're watching, he just plays hard. That's all. It wasn't a 3 o'clock fight in the morning in New York down in Manhattan. It was all in baseball. But he loves the opportunity to play every day.
This one's driven to right center, but Hicks was playing over that way, and he'll get over there to make the catch.
But listen, he is adamant about hoping Marcus Semien comes back sooner than later. Semien got some good news the last homestand, so he's working out. And as Bob Melvin said, probably will be back earlier than a lot of people expect. But Adam Rosales has done a tremendous job at short. A lot of energy, especially a game like today. You see the high energy from Adam Rosales.
Top of the order, and Rajai Davis, who struck out in the first. In their first strike to Davis. Jay was 0 for 5 last night. He did score a run. That one bunted in the air up over the backstop. So 0-2 the count. So the A's 3 games under 500. They're winners of 5 of their last 7. The month of May, they are 11-11. So a chance for a winning month.
For a while under Bob Melvin, starting in 2012, they had several winning months consecutively. I mean, it was a It's almost every month they were going to win. And of course 12, 13, and 14 postseason. A little bit of a drought the last couple of years, so trying to get back.
1-2 pitch, chased the ball. So 6 strikeouts for Sabathia.
MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live Oakland A's baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get A's home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today.
So a 2 away from Mark Canha. Canha had a base hit in the first inning. Problem with that AL West, Ray, is it's top heavy with one team.
Yeah.
All the other teams outside of the Astros are under 500. The Astros have the best record in all of baseball at 33-16. So it makes it tough on the rest of the division. Hicks coming in, he's got it, and CC Sabathia has retired 5 in a row. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. Yankees 1, A's nothing.
On NBC Sports California is brought to you by Black Bear Diner. Feed your inner bear.
1-0 Yankees lead, bottom of the 3rd. Beautiful look at the new Yankee Stadium. And a nice crowd today. Doesn't look like it's going to be quite as big as last night. Last night, 39,044 in the house. The Yankees this year averaging 36,400 per game. Just down a little bit from last year. They went over 3 million last year for the 18th consecutive year. But this ballpark, attendance-wise, or capacity-wise, I should say, not quite as big as the old Yankee Stadium. The old Yankee Stadium was 54, 55,000, right?
But look at the suites they have here. They didn't have them at New York, at the old Yankee Stadium. That's why they built here, to maximize the suites. I mean, they've got a ton of them here, and the old place just didn't have them. And that makes a big difference because they charge a lot of money. And article in the New York Times yesterday talked about how much revenue the Yankees are losing because they're not selling as many suites, and of course those very expensive seats down below.
3-0 pitch is a strike to Ronald Torreyes, playing 3rd base today.
Chase Headley getting his head together.
Yep. And that's a strike, and it's 3-2.
I'll throw another one in the same spot, make him at least hit his way on. Can you imagine this young man standing next to Aaron Judge? I like your comment last night about Altuve.
That one hit toward left. Davis hustling back, spinning around. He'll get there and make the catch.
He's a good young player. He is a scrappy player. Sometimes you need those types of players on a ball club. But a good comeback for Jarrell Cotton after being behind 3-0 to the 9th place hitter, throwing 3 consecutive fastballs for strikes.
And here's Gardner. Gardner struck out in the first, the only strikeout for Cotton so far. We've seen Cotton scuffle a little bit early today, and hopefully he's starting to settle in, and that's sort of been the case with him this year. You see the ERA in the first couple innings, and then he'll settle in.
Good take on a pretty good changeup from Cotton. Trying to get unscathed in the 2nd inning, down the 3rd inning, and he can pitch well the rest of the game, give his club a chance to come back offensively against CC Sabathia.
2-1 the count. Cotton last pitched on Sunday for AAA. Nashville. He made 2 starts down there.
I'll give him a lot of credit. It's mentioned in our Nissan Keys of the Game about how he was disappointed to be sent down, as most players are when they get to taste the big leagues. But realized after the first start he better pitch well to get back, and he did. Good pitcher, but sometimes the old options game, they have a tough time in the big leagues. Your option back, you can take as many times back and forth as Adam Gonzalez found out.
3-2 now to Gardner.
High fastball. See the pitch cast and the location just a little bit right at the top of the strike zone at 93. Gardner might as well challenge him. He's got good pop though, 9 home runs.
3-2 pitch is hit down the left field line and foul. So the A's, to get Cotton up, put Jesse Hahn on the disabled list. It is possible that Kendall Graveman could go on the disabled list as well. And if the A's were to do that, we don't know if they're going to or not, but that certainly is a possibility. Then they would need a starter in Cleveland.
Right.
So the A's may not be done making transactions. Missed badly inside, and Gardner has the 1-out walk. These players on the disabled list right now: Doolittle, Bassett, Dull, Smolinski, Semien, Wall, and Hahn. And that's just players that are on there now. On the season, the A's have used the disabled list 15 times.
Oh, it's already May the 27th.
Last year, an Oakland record 27 times.
Well, there are a few people who know what's going to transpire next few days. That would be Mickey Morbido. They have to fly the person here. Steve Vucinich to have a uniform, and of course the front office to make the paper transaction to DL somebody. But you're right.
Gardner runs. Fegley's throw. Got him.
On the backside. They're going to hold up, and Joe Girardi saying, wait a minute. But a lot of times the guy is sliding head first and tag him on the backside. Watched Gardner's hand with the tag there, and he's way out, and that's why Joe Girardi said, let's take a look, but very quickly said no. What a great throw by Josh Fegley, because Gardner, who can run, obviously, he had home runs leading off, went on the first pitch, and Josh Fegley, a very, very strong arm, just like Sanchez of the Yankees, and both have been successful throwing out base runners.
The ball goes sailing well past the A's dugout and into the seats. Like I said, the ball going into the seats, the bat going into the seats. Got a thumbs up from the security man, so that's good.
Well, a good changeup, and that's what happens on a changeup, and all those people down in the high rent district. Mariano Rivera Keep the bat. Don't even ask for it back. Sanchez would say, if I threw it that far in the stands, they're going to give it to somebody. The man who got hit. Hope he's okay.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner, and that will do it. So that's how the bottom of the third comes to an end. Fourth inning coming up. 1-0. Yankees leading.
A's Baseball on NBC Sports California is brought to you by the Craftsmen of Commerce at Pitney Bowes, helping U.S. online retailers expand globally.
1-0 Yankees lead. Yankees don't have a hit yet, but they do have the 1 run. They got that in the first inning. A walk, hit batter, wild pitch, sac fly. So top of the 4th inning, Lowry, Davis, and Healy against CC Sabathia. That one on the ground, right to Castro. So Lowry goes after the first pitch. He's retired for the second time. And that'll bring up Chris Davis. So CC Sabathia, Ray, free agent after this year. 36 years old. Obviously, money's not an issue. He's made plenty of that. And if you look at his time on the DL, he has not gone on the disabled list for an arm injury since 2012. Now, he's had the knee problems, which you mentioned.
Right.
That's been a little bit of an issue for him. But the arm, even though the velocity is not what it used to be, we get that. But the arm seems like it's sound.
Yeah.
I mean, if he hasn't done anything disabled list-wise for, this is going on 5 years for his arm or shoulder, elbow, whatever, he could probably keep pitching for a while. The question is, does he want to? All-time strikeout leaders. He's 22nd on the all-time strikeout list, so 227 career wins. So I'm curious, at the age of 36, will he want to keep pitching? He's got a family.
Right. But it's a lifestyle that you get accustomed to.
Yeah.
And you know, the old saying, and again, what David Ortiz did last year, we've talked about him and how he retired, having the best year of anybody ever to retire. Offensively as a DH, of course. But for CC, you get in a pattern, a lifestyle, and sometimes you want to continue to pitch. And, you know, if he continues to pitch well, a left-handed pitcher, I don't care how old you are, if you pitch well and you know how to pitch, and he's transformed himself into a pretty good pitcher other than just rearing back and throwing hard.
This is his 9th year in New York.
Well, as you talked about last night with Tanaka and now CC, I mean, there's 2 pitchers pitching pretty well every 5th day. And
got to replace him.
Yeah. So a decision, of course, the Yankees can hold the decision on Sabathia, but not so much on Tanaka.
Jeff Kellogg, he says, Chris Davis, you went around. Let's decide here.
Yeah, high fastball, and that top hand, or top of the bat, just went a little bit too far.
So with 2 outs, here's Ryan Healy. But you wonder, with Sabathia being from the Bay Area, would he want to come back to the West Coast?
He's probably not happy the Raiders leaving town. He's a big Raiders and Warriors fan. But he and his wife and children live in New Jersey. Does a lot in Vallejo, of course, and we'll see.
Castro has it, throws to first, so that's a good inning. Rolling along right now. 8 consecutive A's hitters have been retired. That big CC Sabathia.
California Ford dealers, and what a play it was as Josh Fegley, a very strong arm. Brett Gardner with a good jump, but Josh Fegley, he could throw as well as any catcher in the baseball. And we've seen 2 very good ones today, but Josh Fegley blocking balls in the dirt, trying to handle Jarrell Cotton, and he throws out Brett Gardner with a bullet to second base. And the smart play of the game, of the day, by Ford dealers, and that's a great play by Josh Fegley.
Matt Holliday to lead it off against Jarrell Cotton in the bottom of the 4th inning. Cotton kicks and deals in the first pitch in first strike. Matt Holliday was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Fastball out over the plate. That's the fastball that Holliday likes, especially in this ballpark.
Yeah,
he can hit a ball out to right field. We've seen a lot of right-handed hitters do that here.
You know, Alex Rodriguez, who of course had a long-term deal, still being paid by the Yankees. He made some changes in Arlington at the ballpark when he would go to right field, like Pudge Rodriguez and the right-handers, and came to Yankee Stadium and did the same thing, because it is a long way to left field, left center here at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, right in front of the A's bullpen, which is deep left center field. It's 399.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
That is a long way. That's as deep as any left center field. I mean, there's some center fields at 399. This is left center.
I think he went. Yeah. Yes, he did. Fegley tags him. Strikeout number 3 for Cotton.
Kite going back to 1973, and it's a strikeout from Jarrell Cotton, a changeup, and that's what extra breaking ball, and a good one on the check swing. He went a little bit too far, as this was a home plate umpire making the call, not the first base. 1973, Mickey Mantle hit his last home run ever. You say, well, he retired. Well, he did. Hit it off Whitey Ford at the old stadium in an old-timers game on August 11th, 1973. And I'm thinking, that sounds familiar. That was an old-timers game. The A's were in town that weekend playing the Yankees. And that old-timers game on Saturday, Mel Allen making the call, the whole thing. Then on Sunday, the A's are facing the Yankees and Sam McDowell. Dick Williams in the 7th inning said, "You guys, one about 6 of us," he said, "take one more at bat, take the rest of the day off." Scored 6 runs off Sam McDowell. Beat the Yankees 13-12. Turned the whole season around in the winning the division, the league, going to the World Series.
So Sam McDowell was pitching for the
Sam
Yankees.
McDowell was pitching for the Yankees.
Okay.
He had been traded to the Yankees. But what was interesting, too, David Feldman said, "I was there." 6 years old. He was at the game that Sunday watching the A's beat Sam McDowell and the Yankees 13-12. But the biggest thing probably is the fact that it turned the A's around to the point that said, if you can come back down that big, I think it's down 9-4. And Dick Williams pretty much said, "Hey, you guys have played a lot." And there's just something throughout a season that turns the club around. And as Allaire pointed out, the A's on June the 1st of 2012 were 22-30, 8 games under 500. And here they are on the 27th, just 3 games under. So anything can happen in the game of baseball. But that happened in 1973, and poor Mickey Mantle could barely walk around the bases. His knees were so bad. But hit a home run off of Whitey Ford, the chairman of the board, at an old-timers game. And they have some old-timers games here. They know how to do it. They bring the guys back. And there's another retired number 16 of Whitey Ford, Thurman Munson, the late Munson on to the right, Yogi Berra, I think Bill Dickey, number 8. I mean, the whole bunch of them. That's why before long, maybe not in a lifetime, you're going to see triple-digit numbers playing for the Yankees. But the Mick, Frankie Crosetti was at third base when he hit the home run that almost left the stadium. It hit the facade, Yankee Stadium. And he went back to third base. And they said after the game, he stood at third base in the coaching box and just admired how far that ball went. He said, "I couldn't leave. I just had to keep going back."
Now, Castro's retired. This is career home run number 500 for Mickey Mantle, and I just like the videos.
Yeah, oh, I said it great.
And look at the old ballpark. Look how it was configured in the outfield.
And his stance, and that was it, the old park. And look at it. I mean, his knees were so bad, and his knee injury first occurred when he was playing next to the great Joe DiMaggio, and he stepped in on a sprinkler head or something and busted his knee. And the poor guy had to just go through such a ritual just to even play the game.
It's too bad, because he was one of the fastest players in the league.
Absolutely. He was, and from the left side, there was nobody faster than Mickey Mantle. This great switch hitter and just a tremendous player.
Too, some players have the name.
Oh, yeah.
And Mickey Mantle's just such a great name because, yeah, the nickname is the Mick, which is a great nickname.
Yeah.
Just Mickey Mantle. There's just something about it. And maybe it's the fact that he played here in New York.
Exactly. I interviewed Moose Skowron, who's working for the White Sox, and it was Mickey, Maris, and the Moose. You talk about some power.
Talk about some fun.
But Mantle told the story that after he retired, he had this nightmare. It wasn't a nightmare. He said, "I'm outside Yankee Stadium, and they're announcing my name and cannot get in. They won't let me in, and I hear them announcing my name." And but what a great player, of course, with Billy Martin and Nelson Howard and Whitey Ford. I mean, just so many great New York Yankee players and the great history of this franchise.
Fegley wanted a high fastball from Cotton. 1-2 the count to Judge, who hit a fly ball to center field to end the first inning.
And I thought it was a 3-run shot.
So did I.
Maybe up off of his picture in center field, but did hit a little bit towards the end of the bat. But it even sounded great off the end.
Good pitch, slider down and away, and Judge gets a strikeout. That's 4 for Cotton, and we are moving to the 5th inning. 1-0 Yankees.
California is brought to you by Kona Brewing Company. Enjoy some ice-cold liquid Aloha tonight.
1-0 Yankees. So you wonder why it took us an hour and 15 minutes to get to the ballpark from the hotel yesterday? That's why, right there. Lots of traffic. Lots of traffic. Much easier today. Top of the 5th, 1-0 Yanks.
In the lobby yesterday, and Chip Hill, of course, was going to take the subway instead of waiting for the guys. Then Darren Bush decided to go with him. Scott Emerson said last night they took a taxi and beat him.
I bet Chip loved that.
Oh, yeah. There he is. He loves action at third base, and a little bit too slow for him today. Nothing going on. But just stay close. Now you just stay close, and that's, you know, you can only hope by staying close that something good can happen. Last night nothing happened for 7 innings for either ball club, but then what looked like he's going to be at about a 2-hour and 20-minute game, and it'll be in 3:09.
Of course.
In the last 2 innings.
Sanchez sets up inside, and the ball runs way outside. 2-2 the count. 56 pitches for Sabathia. He's retired 8 in a row. Strike 3 call, Plufnur. That's 8 strikeouts for Sabathia.
Fans, every Tuesday the ballpark gates will open at 4:30 p.m. 1 hour earlier than usual for the remainder of the season to allow fans the opportunity to watch the A's take batting practice. That's always a treat. Tuesdays also feature free parking at the ballpark as part of Chevy Free Parking Tuesday. Great day. A lot of fun to watch batting practice. See the guys take infield practice, and you get to park for free.
See, what you want to do too is you want to watch the A's take BP because it's your guys, right? It's fun. But then right after that, the visiting team takes BP. And so the next Tuesday game would be June 6th, and it'd be the Blue Jays. So there you got Donaldson, who's going to want to put on a show. Jose Bautista probably puts on a pretty good batting practice show. Tulowitzki. So you get those big power hitters, get there early, get a spot out in those left field bleachers.
And then when you see how great it is, you come Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against the Yankees and watch Mr. Judge.
That's right.
Here come the Judge.
That's right. Two and one the count to Chad Pinder, who struck out looking in the second inning on a questionable call. Misses badly. Now 3 and 1.
Well, CC Sabathia, one thing that he has talked about, of course, financially very well set, but he hired a chef, personal chef. But he's always been very big, and it looks like the pants he could probably go to sleep because they're like pajamas. But he's a big man, and he's always been big, and I give him a lot of credit. He has been able to endure all the aches and pains and pitching at the major league level. Cleveland, Milwaukee, and New York.
3-2 pitch. No swing. That was a close pitch either way.
Well, you got to sell it. You got to sell it. And Chad Pinder just dropped his bat, took off his shin guard, and headed to the first play. That's why Sanchez may be talking to Will Little about the pitch. Side swing. I don't think he swung. Close, though. Could have gone either way. Sanchez brought it up into the strike zone, and maybe that's why he was complaining. But maybe Will Little is watching the ball cross the plate, which umpires do.
So runner aboard. Here's Fegley. So Sabathia into the stretch for the first time since the second inning. And that breaks the stretch of 9 consecutive hitters retired. Missed again. Fegley with a good take, so 2-0.
See, Sabathia going the slide step, which you always want to try to help your catcher, but in this case, Sanchez doesn't need any help. As was the case when Plouffe took off, got a pretty good jump, and Sanchez threw him out from his knees.
Pinder has a good lead at first. Fegley rolls it foul off the facing of the Yankees dugout.
CC shook off a fastball in and went to the changeup, and he got it off the end of the bat. You're my man.
Oh yeah, Aldo.
Oh.
Loved
Yeah.
you when you were a player. Who'd you play with again?
That's hard, man.
Come on. You know, the guy's pumping his fist. You're the man, Aldo. Yeah. Base hit for Fegley.
Took the ball off the ground for a base hit.
So the A's got something going here against Sabathia.
Yeah.
I know.
Saturday afternoon.
I know.
Look at the location of this fastball. Way below the zone. That's not on the ground. Sanchez went down to block it, and Fegley took it right off the ground. Base hit, though, and he's trying to get something going. Bottom of the order. Love to see those fist bumps, don't you?
Yeah.
He's like, that's out. Wow, you're my favorite.
Love that guy.
Favorite
Loved you as a
guy.
player. Eldoret. Yeah. Yeah. So a chance for Rosales against Sabathia. In the air, left field, but it's hanging up for Gardner, who gets back. Gardner was actually shaded over toward left center field, and that helped him a little bit, although that ball hung up there for quite a while. Well, weekdays, Greg Papa, Ray Ratto, and Kelly Johnson bring you the Happy Hour. Also available to listen live and as a podcast on NBCSportsBayArea.com.
Yeah, Cap, I think Gardner in Yankee Stadium here plays like the left fielders do at Minute Maid Park, because the ball's down the line, could be doubles or whatever, but kind of gapping towards or playing towards the gaps. And you're right, that's exactly where he was shading. See where he is there and how close he is over to left center, giving up a whole lot of the right field or left field line.
Hicks on the move into right center, and he's got it, and he was shaded that way a little bit. So pretty good outfield defensive positioning for the Yankees. Back on NBCSportsCalifornia.com. It's brought to you by Max Muscle. Log on each week as our A's insider Joe Stiglitz talks baseball with players, coaches, special guests, and more. It's available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Spotify. Latest guest is Scott Emerson. She's looking it up right now. Her dog said, I want to hear the podcast. by the great Joe Stiglitz, who's in the house today.
Yes, he is. Just dapper as always.
Yeah. Gregorius hits one high, deep, and foul. So a long strike. Gregorius, Hicks, and Carter here in the bottom of the 5th. That one's outside. Sports writers here at Yankee Stadium are right next to us. I mean, right next to us.
Exactly.
Well, we see sometimes in ballparks the sports writers will be below us and we'll be above them a level.
They also had the official score right in the middle.
Yeah, there he is.
He's got a monitor, and he is able to make the calls.
See, I think it would be easier to have it. I mean, like when you like to go talk to the official scorer, which is always it's terrific theater. I'd like to be able to make it easy for you to get over there. So if you have a complaint.
Me? I never come on.
Well, you're right. It's not a complaint. It's an opinion.
This is where we are, and they're over to our left, and right in the middle, at the top row, you're going to see a white monitor.
Right below that big monitor there.
Yeah, that's official score. So he's got all the access to replays and everything. And
so when Ray has an opinion, that's where he goes.
Yeah.
You haven't done that so much.
You know, he waved. Maybe he's got our feed as well as the Yankee feed and all feeds, and he's getting all the replays.
He doesn't know that at any point if he makes what's a questionable call, he's going to hear from the big man, the 2-time Gold Glove winner and the 2-time world champion Ray Fosse. Got to get it right. That one runs off the plate. 2-2 the count.
Got a good two-seamer. He's not really gone inside with a two-seamer, and that's not a bad idea. Left-handers, you make a mistake in, it could be dangerous. So have the ball running away could work well for Jarrell Cotton.
And that one is hooked foul. So good battle here between Gregorius and Cotton.
Gregorius is staying back on the changeups, and that's the scary part. And might be sitting on it. And Cotton, remember, just 5 starts last year, late in the season. He's, as Kite mentioned, saw the Yankees here early and also early in Oakland, and finished with the Bronx Bombers early in the season. So Cotton coming to Yankee Stadium for the first time.
And he gets Gregorius swinging. So 5 strikeouts. In fact, he has struck out 4 of the last 5 Yankee hitters.
On the upper part of the strike zone, and there it is at 88. A little bit of a cut fastball back door. Not the true low 90s fastball, but enough to fool Gregorius.
How about that?
Oh.
So his losses.
Wow.
Well, his first start, he lost to the Angels. He lost to Texas, lost at Houston, and lost to the Angels. So the AL West has not been kind to Jarrell Cotton. That one is belted foul by Aaron Hicks.
But as long as they're pulling them foul, that's a lot of oohs and ahs, but they're foul balls.
Just a loud strike.
Yeah.
So 1-1 the count. So Cotton pitching extremely well today on the heels of a terrific performance by Sean Manaea. So it's great to see him in these youngsters who still searching for a little consistency, but when they're on, you can see how good they can be.
Just like that changeup, very, very good pitch, thrown just like his fastball, pulled the string nicely. Probably one of his better changeups of the day that he just threw Aaron Hicks. And whenever a hitter swings through a pitch, that's a good one. He's going to back it up with another one, see if he can get the same result.
Well, he got a bad swing. So Manaea last night got the win, and he had it all going.
Oh, very impressive. The high fastball, that was 6 in the first inning, and Good slider to Holiday. Chris Carter. Another Holiday slider. He struck out 3 times. And Sean Manaea, I would venture to say that if he shook off Stephen Vogt last night, it was because Stephen Vogt told him to.
That's probably true.
And that's why when you see a pitcher shake his head, so what is he doing? You look at Stephen Vogt. He will do that, and that's just simply to get the hitters thinking. Bob Melvin has to be pleased definitely with Manaea last night. And the way the A's won, Stephen Vogt behind the plate with Manaea last night. Had a big 2-run home run in the 9th inning. Great guest on our post game. And now watching Josh Fegley throw out a base runner and catch Terrell Cotton, giving up just 1 run in the 1st inning.
So for the Yankees, 1 run on no hits, if you're following along.
Yes, we are.
This is pitch number 84 for Cotton. Strike at the knees.
They said that about Koufax and Drysdale.
That's right. Sandy Koufax threw a shutout last night. Did the Dodgers win? What a great comment.
That's
Dodgers
great.
in the 60s had terrific pitching.
That's
They just
right.
didn't score a lot of runs.
That's right.
Didn't have to. They won a whole bunch in the 60s.
Maury Wills get on, still first, still second, still third, scoring a ground ball, 1-0.
Final score, Dodgers won.
Maury Wills with 100 stolen bases one year. Change up to the big man, Chris Carter. It's called Chris today with CC pitching.
Out in front.
Chris Carter's a tough hitter to fool because it's the old saying about see ball, hit ball. There the pitch cats, total 86, 23 in the very, very tough first, but got through it.
Fastball at 96 miles an hour, but well high. Very high to left. Davis going back. Davis turns around. Davis has room, and he makes the catch. So 7 in a row retired by Terrell Cotton. Yankees don't have a hit, but they have a 1-0 lead.
Our highways clean. Protect our water. ProtectEveryDrop.com.
Look at that gorgeous shot of Central Park.
How about that? Hey, there's green. Green in Manhattan, huh?
Always a nice walk through Central Park if you get a chance. There's the pitcher's duel with the Yankees leading 1-0. Cotton and Sabathia both have been sharp. Sabathia's got 8 strikeouts through 5 innings. So the Yankees struck out 13 times last night, 8 times today through 5 innings. Canna, Lowry, and Davis here in the top of the 6th. Bounce toward third. Torres stays with it across the diamond, and Canna is out. 1-1.
Still swinging aggressively, but unfortunately hit in the first inning, and that's it against CC.
Batting average as he goes through the lineup, it's a little bit better each time, which is always a good sign. I always thought it was a great analogy, Ray. Do you have enough, and I say enough meaning a starting pitcher, to get a hitter out 4 times in a game?
That's right. That's what starters.
Three, okay.
Yeah.
4, that would be a really good thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily 4 different pitches, but do you have enough?
Yeah, exactly. What did we show earlier? 38 complete games for CC Sabathia. So he's done it 38 times. But you're right. That's a good point, because they always talk about third time through the batting order. And, you know, that's where scouting reports are great and all the information's there. But that's where also a catcher has to be aware of what has happened in the previous at-bats as you go through the batting order with the same pitcher third time through. Because if you stay on the same scouting report, that hitter's going to realize what you're trying to do, and it may change. So having different pitches, of course, hitters think about it, but also pitchers and catchers. This pitch a little bit high. Sabathia and Sanchez, he brought it in.
And the next pitch is called a strike, and Lowry doesn't like that. So Lowry, you saw the 2-0 pitch, which was high, and he didn't like the 2-1 pitch.
You know, it's almost like today it's automatic on 3-0, and it's going to be called a strike. That's a ball.
Should be ball 4.
Exactly. That's. And the same with Pinder. I mean, game changes a lot based on the call on the pitch.
And this is not going to sit well with Lowry.
No.
And now why Will Little just threw a ball out to the mound, I have no idea, because the ball's being thrown around the infield. Will Little just rolled the ball out to the mound.
Now the backdoor slider again, not close.
So he threw 5 pitches.
Yeah.
None of them were strikes, and Lowry got called out. So that's not good umpiring by Will.
No, it's not. And then he throws the ball to nobody. Well, that just shows right there he's not really involved in this game. If he throws the ball when the catcher's throwing the ball around the infield.
Not quite sure why you do that.
Wow.
So Jed Lowry's going to go back, and he's going to look at that, and he is not going to be happy. And here's why. These are the 5 pitches to Lowry.
First
Check
one,
it out.
Bad.
Ball.
Ball 5, and he's struck out. And Jed Lowry throws up his hands, and somebody's going to get ejected. And you know, unfortunately, somebody is because of bad umpiring.
I mean, I can see a guy missing 1, but you can't miss 3 on a hitter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's bad.
You know what's unfortunate, really, because they're going to get a DVD of this game, and they're going to see how they're judged. And a lot of times it's a ball off of the plate, which is wrong. I mean, a strike is a strike. You can't give the umpire latitude of saying he could go up 1 complete size ball off the. Well, KD Davis, I mean, that pitch is a ball, but you get the point, you're forcing guys to swing at pitches that they normally try to be patient with.
So 1-2. Sanchez sets up outside. Well, that's
it. Now the fans want it.
Sure. And that's not a strike.
Way outside. That pitch not even close, and the fans, because he's called him.
He may throw it again. And if you're Sabathia, why not?
You know, when Art Howe was managing, David Wells was pitching, he had the same stop and strike zone. Art Howe went out and drew 2 lines, a foot to the right, a foot to the left, and of course got ejected, but basically saying this is your strike zone with him pitching. And he got thrown out, but after that it kind of changed a little bit.
3-2 pitch, bounce foul.
Now, people could say you're complaining. Bottom line, we're showing the pitch cast. We're showing the box, which is a strike zone. It's not like, now say, Jed Lowry is screaming on the bench, and it's not like it's the A's and getting called out. I mean, clearly the pitchers are outside of the strike zone. That box is there for a reason to show the strike zone.
Another 3-2 pitch, and he misses outside. So walk number 3 by Sabathia.
But you know what happens, Kai, if there are certain pitchers, good pitchers, guys that run around, they get a certain strike zone, and they're going to stay with it as long as it's continually called a strike.
So here's Healy. He's need a big shot here. Healy has struck out and grounded out. First pitch is a strike. .84 pitches for CC. Wide open right side of the diamond. There's Castro, the second baseman, playing pretty much right behind second base. So the crowd's starting to make some noise. Kind of a lazy Saturday afternoon here in New York. 0-2 pitch, hit hard, fair, down the third baseline. Davis hits the bag at second. Gardner tracks it down, and Chip Hale's going to wave Chris Davis home. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's way offline, and this game is tied.
And there's your point, Kai. Gardner so far off the line, you're hopeful if you're the Yankees, they don't hit a ball like Ryan Healy just did. A 2-out triple down the left field line, maybe a double with a fastball, pull the hands in, off the plate, past the diving Torres, and Gardner so far off the line. Chip Hale, look how far Gardner has to run to get to this ball. And Chip Hale said, come on, big boy, you're going to try to score. I'm going to send you no matter what. And the throw back in, and the relay all way offline. And the A's get the big 2-out hit they're looking for, and a walk with 2 out scores.
So it goes as a double, third on the throw.
That's
Healy
what
picks up his 20th RBI, and that's probably the right
yeah,
call.
it is. I said triple, but you're right. The throw going to the plate, so he kept going, and then Chris Davis with 2 outs running all the way, and you get to third base, let Chip Hale tell you what to do, and he's looking to left field, and Chip sending him all the way, throw way offline. So big 2-out RBI double after a 2-out walk, and a big hit by Ryan Healy.
1-1 the count to Plouffe. Little flare going out is Castro, and it pops up in the air, and it's caught by Judge. Off the glove of Castro into the glove of Judge. And that's a pretty nice play by both those gentlemen.
Well, it's a great job backing up by Judge, going after it, and must have been a football player, playing the bounce off and catches it perfectly.
inning.
Well, this is a great play by both Castro, and you watch as he catches the ball, kind of goes out of his webbing, and Judge is right behind him. No collision, but there is Judge to take the rebound off the glove of Castro, and a big out for CC Sabathia on a nice play by the big man in right field.
There's Torreyes. Goes after the first pitch. And this would have been a run for the A's.
Yes, it would have been. You know, maybe just enough the ball flipped up instead of hitting right in the palm of Castro's glove. And it hit the palm, the webbing, and then popped straight up, and Judge was right there.
Torreyes hit a fly ball to left field in the third inning.
Remember football drills where the quarterback could throw a pass and it hit off the receiver, and you'd be defending, and you'd take the Karaman used to work on that, but that's exactly the way that worked.
The old tip drill.
Tip drill. There you go. Thanks, Cap. I was trying to think of that word, but
well, training camp will be before you know it.
well, you
and I got to get ready for two-a-days. We got a couple two-a-days this year.
That's right. That's right.
In the air to right, where Canna is right there, and he's got it.
Oh, don't start rotating your arm, Terrell. Too many guys have done that and ended up on the disabled list.
You're fine. You're okay.
I always think about the king in his court, the great fast pitch pitcher, Eddie Feiner, thank you. And that's the natural movement, the rotation. But for a pitcher to raise the arm and throw, it's really abnormal. It's not a normal delivery, and you're not going to pitch underhand.
No, but that's go all day if you could.
Yeah, but that's why maybe like guys like Chad Bradford and Brad Ziegler, they throw underhand, should never have arm problems. Got to always throw from down under. Chad Bradford, of course, retired, back to raising crickets.
1-0 to Brett Gardner. 2-0 to Brett Gardner. I just saw something, I don't know if it was in the newspaper, or I think it was a college softball tournament where a young lady threw 232 pitches.
Wow.
Go get them.
Fast pitch, huh?
And she was fine.
Of course, that's the natural delivery. They probably don't count pitches in fast pitch softball.
Yeah, they were counting them that day, but it didn't stop her. More action for Canna heading over near the seats, but it's well back amongst the crowd. Blue Jays leading the Texas Rangers again today, 3-1. That game in the bottom of the fifth at Rogers Center.
Well, there's a big history of that those two clubs going back to the last two postseasons, and especially last year when the Blue Jays won with a walk-off with Donaldson scoring on a ground ball, and of course the big sign in left field. The year before, 3 consecutive errors in the 8th inning allowing the Blue Jays to score and come back, and of course that was a notable bat flip by Bautista that caused last year's little incident.
Well, we always joke when two teams are playing, oh, they just don't like each other. Well, most of the time we're joking.
Yeah.
In the case of those two teams, we're not.
Exactly.
Rangers have lost 4 in a row. Center field, Rajay Davis back. Rajay waits and he grabs it.
Cat, there's a perfect example before you continue your story about two teams that don't like each other. That's what you do right there. You pitch outside at Yankee Stadium and you try to get a hitter to pull the ball, and that's perfect. Why take a chance inside when you can do what he just did? Look at the location. See it going away, and he tried to pull it. And he can try to pull as much as you want. It's going to go straight away center field. It's a can of corn. Frankie Montas up as he was up last night. He said, I was ready to come in. Casilla came in, made it interesting. Frankie getting loose, and a lot has changed with the A's scoring that 2-out run in the top of the inning, trying to get through this bottom of the 6th, and who knows, maybe it for Terrell Cotton as he's approaching 100.
Facing Gary Sanchez. Be careful here. Sanchez is a big fella, 6'2", 230 pounds. He's 24 years old, from the Dominican Republic. Yankees signed him in 2009. So he was just 17 years old when they signed him.
Oh, be careful. He's going to come out of his shoes.
And he takes low, 3-0.
And will he have the green light? Yes.
Yeah.
I would say yes. And so be careful. And I think Matt Holliday hitting behind him. But Sanchez, who hit a whole bunch of home runs last year, would have to think he would be primed to hit. That's a shock. That pitch is as good as he's ever going to get. Just proof that maybe some guys don't like 3-0. Slider cutter, and not a bad pitch to go 2-3-1.
And that was a good one.
Yes, it was. One of the best.
Well located.
And that's why the 3-0, and Jed Lowry, of course, we mentioned it, where Jed said the 3-0 pitch is the most predictable pitch that you'll ever get at the plate, because more times than not it's going to be a fastball. If a pitcher believes that you're going to swing, he might not throw you a four-seam fastball. One changeup. Throw him a good one. No.
And he misses high. Got underneath that one a little bit. Sanchez walks for the second time.
Now Bob Melvin let Manaea extend last night. Probably more pitches than he'd ever thrown. But the one thing he is looking at is the fact you've got a couple of guys on the disabled list. And it's time for Sean Manaea to step up. And for Jarrell Cotton at 103. He's maxed out. So he's not hit 100 yet this year in his previous 7 starts.
The closest he has got is 98 up until today. Holiday takes inside. Looked like a good pitch.
Wow.
So career high 104 pitches today for Jarrell Cotton. 5 2/3 innings.
But you know, he has to look at the fact that his manager's given him a chance to get through this inning and hope that his club can score some runs in the top like the A's did last night with Manaea. Uh-oh.
High and deep. Davis back. Gone. So the Yankees take a 3-1 lead on the 2-run shot from Matt Holliday.
Well, pitch cast, look at the location. And you know what? That is his bat speed at 89. And he got all of it. I mean, this is a big park, and he went to the biggest park. But still, a pitch that he cannot handle, a mid-90s fastball. And that was an 89. And he crushed it after the 3-2 changeup on Sanchez to walk in. So like the A's at the top of the inning, got a 2-out walk, and they scored 1. A 2-out walk to Sanchez. The Yankees scored 2.
So that'll bring up Starlin Castro. So for Holliday, his 9th home run of the year.
Now, it sounded so good coming off his bat, and it ended up being even worse.
And there's a line drive, right center field, a base hit. Castro has a 2-out single.
Yeah, maybe just running out of gas.
So Jarrell Cotton cannot get through the 6th inning. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your trusted oil change, tune-up, and smog experts.
on NBC Sports California is brought to you by Black Bear Diner. Feed your inner bear.
So the Yankees have taken the lead. Their first hit in this game was a 2-run homer by Matt Holliday. So the Yankees lead 3-1. Jarrell Cotton pitched well, but maybe he did run out of gas a little bit. I think that Sanchez at bat where he fell behind and battled back, but ended up walking him on a 3-2 changeup. Could not get that third out. Throw 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and career high 107 pitches. So Frankie Montas comes in to face Aaron Judge. Good fastball at the knees at 98. Castro is the runner at first. He's single. 17th appearance for Frankie Montas, who's been pitching well as of late. He has not been scored upon in his last 5 outings, and those 5 outings cover 7 1/3 innings. So the youngster maybe getting his feet under him a little bit.
Yep. You know, they still talk about him possibly being a starting pitcher. We don't know what the A's front office is thinking about. David Forst, Weather Bain, but Frankie Montas coming in and throwing as hard as he does, maybe in line as a future closer. Who knows? As hard as he throws.
Good little slider. Quick throw to first. What do you think Aaron Judge's shoe size is? It looks like about like an 18. Oh my goodness.
Well, they want a strong foundation. You're 6'7". You better have a strong foundation.
And he does. Two and 2 the count to Aaron Judge.
All I know is the logo on those shoes. That company's done quite well. They have a guy named Jordan Spieth as a golfer with that logo.
That's the guy you want.
That's exactly right. It's one of the up-and-coming companies.
Right at the knees. Strike 3 called with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Matt Holliday hurts the Athletics, a 2-run shot. So we're going to the 7th inning. Yankees 3, A's 1. The A's got him from the Seattle Mariners for Danny Valencia. He pitched well on Wednesday. Pretty good ERA in the PCL. And Yaro Munoz, young infielder. He's the number 10 prospect in the A's organization, doing a nice job in Double-A Midland. So keep an eye on Yaro Munoz. He's 22 years old. He was in spring training for a little bit with the A's. from the Dominican Republic. So that's a quick look at the A's minor league system, who's doing well. As always, though, Ray, we have to look how Franklin Barretto's doing. 312, 6 homers, 27 RBIs. On base percentage of 356, slugging percentage of 500. So he continues to have a very nice season. Playing a lot of shortstop, a little bit of second base. That's Adam Warren starting to throw for the Yankees. Matt Chapman hitting .241 with 11 homers in 32 games. Popped up right side, and it's in foul territory. Judge had it. He caught it. It's his glasses that popped off. He runs into Chris Carter. That's a couple of Big Macs coming together, folks, and I think everybody's okay. If you're Starlin Castro, you just don't want to get in the middle of it.
Wow, that is a train wreck there. I mean,
Judge caught it.
Yes, he did. His glasses did fall off, like you said, as Carter went after it. Judge came in, and he's got a combined over 500 pounds going head to head. And CC's in the middle of it. You really got some big boys.
I'll tell you what, you put Sanchez, CC, Carter, and Judge, and you're going to rush for 1,000 yards easily. Man, oh man. Fegley deep to left field, and that baby is gone. 3-2 game.
Well, catcher Stephen Vogt last night, catcher Josh Fegley today. Fastball crushed. Josh Fegley, a first pitch fastball, and he did not miss it. Got Alvarez the pinch hit in Anaheim, right center. First pitch. This first pitch fastball crushed. Did it go second deck? Just below it?
The back of the first level. So for Fegley, his second home run of the year. Home run number 70 for the A's. So the Astros, A's, and Yankees all tied at 70. One behind the Rays.
Josh Fegley. Whew, yeah, it was a long way.
It was a long way, yes. So here's Rosales. So back to a one-run game. So tight game last night, tight game again today. Rosales has hit a fly ball to center field, a fly ball to left field. And he lines one right center. Hicks missed it. It kicks off his body. Rosales hustling for second, and he's going to make it.
That boy, feet first slide.
Yep. Safer.
Well, the old traditional way, and Joe Girardi going to the bullpen to Adam Warren probably, but Adam Rosales a hustle double, and again Hicks, as he did last night, ill-advised, this time going for the dive, came up with it, but from his standpoint, kicked it too far away. He actually got a glove on it, a short hop, and Adam Rosales, who always runs hard anyway, gets a base hit, turns it into a double, and watch the feet first slide. No more headers. And that's a good pop-up slide.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Adam Warren coming in.
Southern California. We'll be at the Coliseum on Monday, July the 3rd. Following the A's versus the White Sox game, fans are invited onto the field for a fireworks show that proudly represents America's birthday. For tickets, visit athletics.com/tickets. And got to see some special uniforms worn also through the 4th of July. Turn back the clock on the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Will be great uniforms as CC Sabathia comes out in the top of the 7th inning. 96 pitches for the big left-hander and turns it over to a gentleman who the Yankees are extremely happy to have back. And CC goes the 6 1/3.
And that is Adam Warren. 1-1 record and a 2.96 ERA.
Warren can do a lot for this ball club. He started, he's relieved, and came back from the Cubs.
And he's facing Matt Joyce. Joyce is hitting for Rajay Davis. 2 for 6 in his career against Warren. Tying run at second, and he's got a couple of shots to get him in. Joyce pops a foul back. So 1-1 the count to Matt Joyce. Marcana waits in the on-deck circle. Down and in. So Warren had good years with the Yankees. 2013, 14, 15. He was a big part of a good bullpen. And then the offseason going into the 2016 season, he was traded to the Cubs for Starlin Castro.
Yeah.
So Yankees got a pretty good player in Castro. But the Yankees always liked him, and they got him back when they traded Aroldis Chapman to the Cubs. So Warren really spent a half a year in Chicago and did not pitch well for the Cubs. But then came back to the Yankees, and he pitched well for the Yankees.
Yeah.
So.
And it was said that whenever he was traded, he kept all his Yankee stuff. He said, because I'm going to go back.
And he did.
He did. And very happy to be back in the pinstripes.
So when it's all said and done, the Yankees got Warren back, they got Chapman back, and they got Castro.
So it's not a bad deal. Sacrificed a year, but
Cubs got a World Series. So 3-2 the count to Joyce. Matt Joyce as a pinch hitter this year, 1 for 5. Remember last year he was terrific as a pinch hitter for the Pirates.
That's a great call. And he learned a lot pinch hitting because he said it helped him and hopes to help him as an everyday player.
Sabathia pitched well today, 6 1/3. This one is popped up. Torreyes over, but it'll be into the seats.
Middle part of June, that's an out. Coliseum when the Yankees are there. Oh man, how great it's going to be, because when they get rid of all that foul territory, there's going to be a lot of happy hitters. Pitchers love it, and we will say it as long as the A's play at the Coliseum.
So that's his career as a pinch hitter. So full count. Gregorius trying to keep Rosales a little bit close at second base, playing right behind. Probably a good idea with Rosales being the tying run. Three-two pitch, roll foul.
Runner at second base. Of course, Sanchez going through a series of signs as Warren shook off a bunch of pitches. And there's your runner at second. You never want to just go to one side, but sometimes you'll see a catcher after so many shakeoffs, he'll just say, okay, here's one pitch, one sign. That's very dangerous, and that's why you get guys at second base alert. There's too many signs.
I was just thinking the
Now
same
it's
thing.
only the first or second. The others are decoys.
First baseman Carter scoops it up. He'll take it himself. Joyce is retired. Rosales to third.
Late Thurman Munson used to do runner at second base. He'd go 1, 2, 3.
In other words, anything after that
That's
doesn't
right.
matter.
Doesn't matter. It's one of those two. Wow.
So it's up to Canna to try to get Rosales home and tie up this ball game. Canna has singled, hit a fly ball to center field, and grounded to third. First pitch hit high and foul. Attendance just announced this afternoon 40,218 on a very comfortable day. Good day to sit and watch a ball game. Cloud cover has kind of kept the sun away. Warren from the stretch. Kicks and deals, and the pitch is inside.
I think ultimately he's going to go slider away and try to get the right-hander pull off the pitch as Canada did the first slider he saw. Or just stay close, shoot one to right field. Only need a base hit. That's a slider. You can go one side with nobody in second.
And that is just foul. The ball ran down and in on Canna. Canna can get to that ball down and in.
Yeah, and it was a slider, and Sanchez wanted it away, but the pitch did stay inside, like you said, and that's where the mistakes occur. Canna just got too strong and pulling the ball. Sanchez outside, and Canna pulled the hands in nicely and just foul.
So Warren ahead of Rosales 1 and 2. Or ahead of Canna, excuse me, 1 and 2.
Finally shook off 3 to go to the fastball away.
And he misses away and down.
If there's one thing and don't see anymore, the wiping, adding, subtracting. It's just go through multiple signs, and if the pitcher's calling his own game anyway, let him do it. Suggestions coming up. Suggestion number 1. Fastball in. He likes it. Okay. Mikey likes it.
That one came across the plate a little bit.
That's the problem. You try to go in and you can't. You ended up leaving it in the middle of the plate. Well, the A's got a big 2-out base hit last night. Jed Lowry, actually 2 of them. Chris Davis got an infield hit following the Lowry base hit to right field. Jed in the on-deck circle. Can't wait to say hello to Will Little. Curveball, slider. He likes the slider better than the curve.
And a good spoil job by Canna. That was a good pitch down and away.
See, probably less likely to hang a slider than he is a curveball. See how sharply the slider breaks, and that's a good protecting swing by Canna. Curveball, you have a chance to hang it. He hung the slider middle part of the plate to Canna when he pulled it foul. Now that slider, a good chase, went away.
And generally, right, Ray, you see a curveball a lot sooner than you see a slider.
Great point, because of the spin rate, the spin on it. Slider again.
That's a good take by Canna. 3 and 2.
But if there's ever a chance a hitter can peek at a catcher who moves too soon, you see location and you just know the pitch is going to be out there. Canna, another great at bat. The runner at third is CC Sabathians. He will not be the losing pitcher. He'd love to get a no decision if Canna could come through with a hit somehow, some way to score Rosales from third.
Three-two pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Off speed, down and in. So Warren does a terrific job and gets out of the jam. The A's get the Fegley home run. So we have reached the 7th inning stretch here at Yankee Stadium, and it's a 3-2 Yankees lead over the A's.
Brought to you by the 2017 Jeep Cherokee with an EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. By Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. By AAA, what does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details. And by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica.
And a couple more opportunities for the Athletics. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Fegley home run makes it a 3-2 game. We'll tell you that you can enjoy your next day's home game in style by booking a Watches.com suite today. Visit athletics.com/tickets to book your suite. And for all A's fans, receive 20% off your first order at Watches.com by using code ATHLETICS. Nice watches at Watches.com, and we hope you take advantage of the suites as well as the great ticket offer at Watches.com. And another exciting game. Mark Canha, good battle, but struck out a little bit.
So the A's moving Mark Canha over to center field. Matt Joyce stays in the game, and Joyce is in right. So Rajay Davis is out. Mickey Montas back out there for the final out. He got Aaron Judge to strike out in the 6th inning. Here's Tyler Clippard. He is the setup man right now for the Yankees. So we could see Tyler Clippard in the 8th.
Well, I think you made an excellent point last night about Betances and Chapman. Because, I mean, Chapman comes back. It's going to be Betances. He's not the official closer yet, but he is right now while Chapman is on the DL.
Either way, if you get to this point in the game against the Yankees and you're trailing, you're going to get those two guys almost every night.
And how about last year before Andrew Miller was traded to the Indians? They had the three-headed monster coming in from the 7th inning on.
Wow.
That was a tough road, and of course a great opportunity for Miller going to the Tribe.
Gregorius is retired. It's interesting, Ray, that was a big deal, right? Start the season with those three guys, and I think the Yankees always had the thought in mind that it is possible that we may trade one of these guys, maybe two. But if you do, then you have to get marquee prospects back, and they did.
Yeah.
Mentioned Gleyber Torres, the young infielder that they got back from the Cubs in the Aroldis Chapman trade. I mean, everybody raves about him. He's only 20 years old. He's already in AAA, and he's going to be here at some point, and probably will be this year. Right-handed hitter. But when they traded Andrew Miller to the Indians, they got an outfielder by the name of Clint Frazier who is, again, we're talking about a top 10 prospect here.
Yeah.
And Frazier's young, just 22 years old. They're both in AAA. They're both playing well in AAA. They're not being rushed to the big leagues, but the reason I'm bringing this up is you start talking about those two young players and Judge and Sanchez and Bird.
Yeah.
Now you start to see where this is a pretty good building for the future situation for the Yankees.
And if you do that and draw $3 million, you can bank some money.
And you can sign free agents that you need. You know, I mean, hey, you go after Manny Machado after a couple years. Or, you know, I mean,
That's right. That's
you have
point.
good young players, and then you got money, and then you fill in your needs with some free agent. That's really how you probably put together a roster, if you have the financial ability to do that.
And I think what's great about the Yankee fans, of course, they seem to support the Yankees anyway, but now the team, even though they're young and maybe some names that aren't recognizable, they're supporting them. I mean, 39, almost 40 last night, 40 today. Great crowds, and probably expect the same thing tomorrow.
1-2 to Aaron Hicks. And it'd be interesting if you asked Yankee fans how they feel about seeing these young players come up, and young players are going to make mistakes, and listen, it's not going to be the core four of Jeter and Posada and that group, Mariano Rivera, but I would guess the majority of Yankee fans they like what's going on.
They have to, And I think just like the A's, and with Dave Cavill and John Fisher saying we're going to stay in Oakland, those fans are ecstatic. They know that when those young players at the A's have a good farm system, when they start to come up, and they're going to know that as they get good and they become free agents, they can keep whoever they want to keep because they're going to have the revenue stream coming in. Sean Manaea coming over to the Zobrist trade. Andrew Triggs picked up off waivers. A tremendous find for the Athletics, doing a great job in the rotation. Both of those guys are. Triggs will pitch tomorrow, his first time ever at Yankee Stadium to pitch.
2-2 pitch, hard slider down and into Hicks.
Now he's ultimately going to go to the pitch that he probably could have thrown earlier in the count. Now it's 3-2, and he's saying he's going to throw a fastball, and Hicks knows he's going to throw a fastball. It's 0-2. Maybe you're less inclined as a hitter to believe it's going to be a fastball, and you might not be as aggressive. Is he going to be on this 3-2?
So he misses. So it ends up the fastball is out of the strike zone. So Cotton walked 3. That's the first walk for Montas. Problem for Jarrell Cotton, 2 of those 3 walks ended up scoring.
And both of them Sanchez, who's trying to hit home runs.
Here's Chris Carter, who is lined out and flied out both times to left field. And that one right off the glove of Fegley.
Oh, boy.
It's not in the dirt.
Nope.
It just tipped off his glove. It should be a pass ball.
Yes, it should. The ball maybe took off right at the last instant, but just went after it. That's a horrible feeling, to reach out and close your glove and then have it head back to the backstop. So you take what could be the possibility of a double play, take that out of the equation.
So 1-0 to Carter. It's amazing, Chris Carter, Ray, and we know how he hits home runs, but here he is. He's hitting .202 this year. He's struggling. He's going to strike out a lot. But when he stands in there, the first thing you think of is, don't make a mistake.
That's right. And
kind of the power of the ability to hit home runs, where it just can affect a pitcher. Good pitch there, 1-2.
Well, the 2 pitches or 2 balls he hit today, the last one might have been out in Miller Park. I mean, it talks about Chris Davis. Well, Chris Carter also played there, 41 home runs, but there are some shots that he hit there. Of course, you have the roof closed. There's no element to affect the ball. This is a big yard, though.
Well, that place is a launching pad.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of people in the National League who say it's as much of a launching pad and maybe even more than Coors Field. Because the ball just sails. And it's not a, Coors Field is a big field.
Right, sure. For
This
the
place
altitude.
is small.
Small, then.
And the ball just
flies like it's the
out of
altitude,
Miller Park.
yeah. That's
Good place to hit.
Yeah, good combination for the hitters.
Yeah. Chris Davis, if he would have stayed there, he may have hit 55 home runs. 2-2. And that one just a little bit low. Pretty good take by Chris Carter.
Yeah, it was.
I think that was a pretty close pitch.
Better than the way Josh Fegley caught it. And the pitch cast with slider there, and
it's a strike.
It's a strike. It's just that sometimes the catcher takes the ball down, but not surprising that Will Little, the home plate umpire, is just having a tough day.
Payoff pitch to Carter. Here it is, and that one is hooked foul. Another slider. A little bit of a flat slider.
Well, if you're going to throw it so he commits to it, and he maybe strikes out if you're going to do that. Maybe thinking that first base open, take a chance with Torres, especially not as much power as this man.
I think it's one of those quandaries for a pitcher where 3-2 breaking ball, they want to throw it, but they don't want to walk the guy.
Yeah, well, you got to
throw it.
You got to throw it for a strikeout, not worrying about contact.
I think that does happen, though.
I agree. And sadly, back-to-back hitters, he's gotten ahead. He's gotten a 3-2 count. Threw a fastball that was out of the zone. First pitch, it's a slider. Second pitch, it's a fastball. First pitch. First sign, that is. A slider.
Staying with that slider.
Yeah, and again, he threw it in the middle of the plate. That's not good.
Yankees with a 3-2 lead here in the bottom of the 7th. High pop-up foul. That was the fastball at 97 miles an hour. Carter's seeing everything he's going to get from Montas. He's seen the slider a bunch of times. He knows about the fastball. So pitch number 9 coming up. Here it is. Missed outside with a fastball. Back-to-back walks.
Now the Oakland A's turn back the clock to the early 2000s on Saturday, July the 1st. The team will wear black jerseys. From the area, 15,000 fans will receive a dual bobblehead of Miguel Tejada and Barry Zito, presented by New Era Cash. For tickets to this game against the Braves, visit athletics.com/promotions. Should be a nice bobblehead of the two guys. One who won the Cy Young Award, and Barry Zito, and the other MVP, Miguel Tejada, the 2002 season.
So Kurt Young with a quick visit. He heads back. And now it's Ronald Torres.
And he's at 2 balls in the air. And you'd like to see a ground ball to get out of the inning. And more than anything, he got Judge, struck him out with a fastball. He got Gregorius on a ground ball to second. And now a whole bunch of pitches to Hicks and Carter to bring Torres up. And you're always concerned about him being aggressive and finding a hole.
Torres has hit a couple of fly balls, one to left field, one to right field. Brett Gardner waits in the on-deck circle in the first pitch. He's tomahawk down the left field line. Foul. Had home run distance.
He's got a quick bat.
Yeah, he does. He's not a big guy. He's 5'8", 150 pounds. How about that?
I know.
From Venezuela.
So where he holds his bat and then takes it back, a little timing mechanism for him.
Slowly hit toward third. Plouffe charges. He's going to go to first. Get the sure out there. It does move the runners up to second and third now with 2 outs.
Bob Melvin going to the bullpen. He's going to his lefty. And that would be for Brett Gardner. And that would be Daniel Coulombe, the only left in the A's bullpen. So a big batter, big situation right now.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and smog experts. Pursue the collection at Park Boulevard Records and Tapes in Oakland. Nice. That a babe. Hear Yonder's amazing story of immigrating from Cuba and how he became the A's clubhouse DJ. Even shows Brody how to do his salsa shimmy. All A's today after postgame live.
Today, Sean is the DJ, and Sean on Fridays, he has the clubhouse rocking. He is a DJ by trade, and he does it on Fridays in the clubhouse, and whenever he does that, place is loud.
Okay.
And he is really doing something. Is Brody going to be in it then? I don't know. But that Brody, I don't think would fit in with that group. Especially if Sean's a DJ.
You never know.
Well, Alonso's a DJ. They're all, but Sean is a real DJ. Alonso's good, but Sean really does it. Right now, Coulombe has to do it.
Indeed, a big at bat as Coulombe faces Brett Gardner. First pitch way outside. Hicks at third, Carter at second, 2 outs. Yankees trying to add on to their 3-2 lead. Mickey Montas goes 1 inning. Couple of walks with 1 strikeout. The 2 runners are his responsibility. Strike call to Gardner. He didn't like it.
Well, you think about Daniel Coulombe, the only left in the bullpen. He has to look at the roster, in this case of the Yankees, and wonder, as John Axford loosens, maybe 1 batter appearance for Daniel Coulombe, and he hopes it's an out with Gardner Sanchez the on deck circle. But you have to pick, and he knows that Bob Melvin's going to pick him at a critical time. And it's almost like he's coming in a save situation every time he pitches, if he's the only lefty.
Yeah, you do not often hear of a situational lefty coming in to get some work.
Exactly.
Right? That does not happen.
No,
and he's not coming in to be a long guy.
No, it's 1 batter.
Yep.
And I mean, this is a predominantly right-handed hitting lineup, except Gardner at the top of the batting order. Of course, Hicks a switch hitter, but by and large, it's right-handed hitting lineup today, and Coulombe facing the 1 lefty.
1-2 pitch. There's that big curveball from Coulombe, and it's a good pitch. 2-2 the count.
Got a cutter, which works well, cutter slider, and the curveball. and a fastball, and of course a big pitch for him, but also a big pitch. And you know, the farther you get in this count, you become more of a defensive type pitcher and not be so concerned about making a pitch that can be hit. You are the reliever, and if he walks him, then extra could come in for Sanchez if that's the case.
2-2 pitch, up and in, and now a full count.
Caught him leaning. Leaning, looking outside. That fastball not that close, but when you're thinking outside and the pitch is up and in. And look at Gardner. He's leaning, and all of a sudden, I mean, that seems as a hitter like it's coming right at your head. In reality, that's why pitching inside is so effective if you can do it. See, he fell down, broke back, the ball's in the catcher's mitt. So, I mean, that's out of shock and fear more than anything.
Three-two pitches tapped foul at home plate. So the count remains full to Brett Gardner, who has struck out, walked, and hit a fly ball to center field. Colomb again on 3-2. And Gardner pops it up near second base. And Lowry grabs it, side, retired. So Daniel Colomb does his job. The Yankees strand a pair. We're headed to the 8th. Yankees 3, A's 2.
With a Chris Davis bobblehead Saturday, June the 3rd, presented by Xfinity. 15,000 fans will receive Davis's bobblehead where the arm bobbles. It actually bobbles, depicting his signature salute when rounding third base after a home run. For tickets, visit athletics.com/promotions, and that should be a great bobblehead following the Bob Melvin bobblehead. Also have the dual bobblehead. Got the big three, got a lot of bobbleheads. Good fireworks shows. An exciting baseball team as they try to come back now against Tyler Clippard, as Kemp says. 8th inning setup man for Dylan Betances.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So Clippard, not a good night last night, right back out there today. First pitch to Lowry is a strike. Lowry just absolutely cannot believe what Will Little is doing today, calling balls strike.
Well, he's asking, did you call this on a pitch or did I swing? Because
that's a pretty good pitch.
It's a pretty good pitch, is right.
So 0-1. Clippard last night threw 17 pitches. Tanaka ended up taking the loss last night. How about that?
Yep. First time the A's have beaten him.
Lowry today 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts. And that one down and in. Lowry fouls it back. Davis to follow, and then Healy. So it's the heart of the order for the A's. Liam Hendricks starts to throw. See, there's Ryan Dahl getting loose, and then there's Liam Hendricks. See how Liam Hendricks. You want to talk about two different ways to get loose when the bullpen comes. When that phone rings, Ryan Dahl, his first pitch is usually clocked around 94.
Yeah, Captain.
Hendricks threw his like he just had rotator cuff surgery yesterday.
Old Yankee Stadium, and the bullpen was in left field underneath. It was like a cave.
That's right.
Where the bullpen was.
Now, in fairness to Hendricks, I think he was having some fun out there.
Yeah, he's having some fun. Oh no, he's gone. There's no way he's going to stay in the game. That pitch is ridiculous. I knew he was going to get tossed. Bob Melvin, I just. What do you say? He called me a bad name?
Bob Melvin may get tossed.
I agree, because that's a horrible strike zone. That's terrible. That is really terrible.
So Lowry has been tossed.
He knew it was going to happen because that's horrible.
Bob Melvin may stay out there until he gets tossed. Maybe not. So Will Lilla has not done a good job today.
Oh, this was really. I'm sorry. And you knew when that happened, he was upset before. 5 pitches that we showed, not one a strike. This one, he's thinking it's 3-2, and you say, you got to be kidding me. You calling me out? So that's 3 strikeouts for Lowry. The only time he didn't was when he swung at the first pitch from CC Sabathia. That's ridiculous. Really bad.
So here's Chris Davis, who has walked twice, scored a run, and struck out.
Remember, Joyce pinched hit for Rajay Davis. So Pinder, who is the DH, might have to go. Because vote. I mean, you're limited in the players.
Yeah, because Yonder Alonso, he's still nursing the sore wrist. Getting closer. And he's missed Yonder Alonso big time. How can you not?
I agree. And, you know, after missing last night with Tanaka, Sabathia today, although he has faced him before, but it's kind of tough to put him in against a lefty. But you just knew that Jed Lowry, 3 strikeouts today. Remember, he had a 7-game hit streak coming in. Big night last night. Big, really, last 4 games. Been seriously good. You just hated to see it because you like to see him come up if a game scoring situation. Wow.
One, 2 is way high. 2-2 to count. A's with 6 hits in the game. The Yankees with just the 2. Axford back up throwing. 2-2 pitch and a good take by Chris Davis. So full count. He's looking for a base runner. Well, there is the Yankees closer, Dylan Betances. In the dirt. Good at bat for Davis. He walks for the 3rd time.
Cap, if he's up and loosening up, that means he may be coming into the 8th inning, depending on the situation.
Yeah, you're right. If things get a little weird here for Clippard, and remember, Clippard Again, last night 17 pitches, 12 so far today. But it's also short rest. It's a day game after a night game.
You know, but your point about when Chapman's healthy, Clipper going to be in the 7th inning guy. 8th inning, a little bit different. So he could move to 7th, Betances 8th, and Chapman in the 9th spot, or 9th inning.
First pitch to Healy. Off speed, catches the outside corner for a strike. Healy, a big double in the 6th, game with 2 outs, and it knocked in Chris Davis to tie up the game. So Healy is 1 for 3 today, 1 for 7 in the series. And that's a foul ball. All right. First inning at bat for Jed Lowry.
Okay.
He struck out looking. So let's see where the pitches were. This is the very first inning. Strike.
Ball, ball, ball. And that started him fuming. Then he grounded out. Then he grounded out to second, and then a strikeout, and it was really fuming. And the last strikeout, seriously fuming to the point he got ejected. And not surprising. So really, he probably didn't see a strike in 3 strikeouts.
Line drive,
Same
base hit down the left field line. Gardner's hustling over, picks it up clean, and they're going to hold Chris Davis.
Well, there's your difference of 1 out versus 2 outs. And Ryan Healy, as he did his previous at bat, doubled down the left field line. And this time, though, because Gardner got to a little quicker, and here comes Joe Girardi, and here comes Dellin Betances, and you'd have to think he's going to try to do what Warren did last inning. Well, there's the ball. Gardner, though, got to it very quickly. The ball got underneath the pad but stayed there, came back, and that's why he's able to get in it quickly. But 1 out, it's a little bit more difficult for Chip Hale to send a runner.
So the closer's coming in, and the Yankees need him to get 5 outs. Program is here recognizing teachers that make a difference. Make sure you visit NBCSportsCalifornia.com and vote. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. So the A's have runners at 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, and the Yankees have brought in their closer, Dellin Betances, and he is very, very good. And listen, I think this is the right move if you're Joe Girardi. This is the game, right? This is the save right here.
And if he has to use somebody else in the 9th inning, so be it. But right now, it is a save. And Adam Warren did the job in the 7th. Betances is trying to do it 2nd and 3rd. Infield back. They're conceding.
And it's Trevor Plouffe. First pitch is a slider way inside.
And remember, Kai, as we all know, Betances can throw 98. But it was Brett Lawrie who hit a curveball down the left field line to beat him a couple of years ago. When he's with the A's, that breaking ball stayed way inside.
Betances is in his 4th full year out of this Yankees bullpen, and he's been terrific in each and every season. And there's that slider for a strike. He likes the slider. I mean, he could run it up there, upper 90s, but I think the slider is probably his strikeout pitch.
Because you have to gear for the fastball.
Look at the strikeouts in innings pitched the last 3 seasons.
And look how he sets up too. The front foot points towards the A's dugout when he does set up. Look at that front foot. So a little crossfire.
And there's the high hard one at 99 miles an hour. Betances is 6'8", 265 pounds. So that sort of finishes up the offensive line for the Yankees. I forgot about Dylan Betances. My goodness.
And Chapman comes back and throws the quarterback at 100 miles an hour.
Right. And Chapman's 6'5".
Well, you'd
1
have,
and 2.
You'd have to figure breaking ball. It's a question if he tries to leave it up for fear of bouncing it.
Strike 3 call. It was a high slider, and Klub is going to argue with Will Little.
And Bob Melvin's got to get out because he's running out of players. Now he's standing in the dugout.
And the A's dugout is all over. Now they're going to throw out probably Bob Melvin, and there's the pitch, and it's way high.
Gracious. Wow.
It's not that close.
Not even close at all. And they've got a chance to see it from the dugout.
Well, we got a chance to see it right there. And
it's higher than that, Skip. It's higher than chest high. I mean, you can only take so much. This is probably the worst umpiring I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, this is bad.
It's really bad. And he will go to the clubhouse afterwards and say he had a great game, and all the other 3 guys will say wonderful game. Yeah, he said that's not. Yeah, get it. Yeah. Because you know you're bad, and that's what happens. So Mark Kotsay takes over, but you know he's going to go to the breaking ball, and that's a better pitch there. This is unbelievable strike zone. Hitters have no clue what the strike zone is. In Kuyp, as we've seen with guys who throw the hard curveball, they're afraid to throw it down and for fear of bouncing it, and then he ends up getting the call anyway.
We'll see if Pinder can come through. There's that slider, and that one catches the outside corner. 1-1. So Lowry has been thrown out, and the manager, Bob Melvin, has been thrown out. One pitch, and that was a fastball that got away from Betances.
That's scary. And he's going to come back with a slider of this fastball at his head. Sanchez lucky to catch it. You get a 98, 99 that high, and you have to go up the ladder that quickly. That's a tough one to try to get to.
So 2-1 to Pinder. Cued foul. So he keeps throwing the slider, and now it's 2-2. And this crowd of over 40,000 is now going to rise to its feet. Top of the 8th inning. A's got a chance to take the lead with a base hit. Everybody's up. Big Dylan Betances facing Chad Pinder. Kicks and deals. And Will Little said you went around. Pinder the throw to first. So home plate umpire Will Little takes charge here in the top of the 8th inning, and the A's do not score. So we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. 3-2 Yankees.
is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 2-7-0 for the A's, 3-2-0 for the Yankees. Jarrell Cotton pitched into the 6th inning. CC Sabathia pitched into the 7th inning. Bob Melvin and Jed Lowry both ejected for arguing balls and strikes. Fegley's got the only home run for the A's. Matt Holliday with a big 2-run shot for the Yankees. That was in the 6th inning. So the A's will get one more crack. And right now the story is a little frustration coming from the A's in their dugout with home plate umpire Will Little. John Axford comes in. So Axford becomes the 4th A's pitcher of the ball game, and he'll face Sanchez, Holliday, and Castro. Gary Sanchez has walked twice and scored twice. So you worry about Gary Sanchez hitting the ball to the ballpark, but his walks have hurt the A's today. 3rd appearance for Axford since coming off the disabled list. Of course, started the year on the disabled list. Chad Pinder, who was the DH, is now the second baseman. So what happens is Lowry's spot now becomes the pitcher spot. So the A's would have to, if that were to come up, the A's would obviously, they would pinch hit, but
yeah,
the problem is you're short because you have Vogt and Alonso left on your bench.
Well, they'd have to sacrifice.
And his spot, right? Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4. His spot is the 5th spot coming up in the 9th inning.
I think you'd have to sacrifice Stephen Vogt if it comes to that point.
If it gets to that point, you have a chance to take the lead.
Yeah. Of course, you remember last year, Graveman ended up hitting 4th.
That's right. Hey, do what you got to do.
Because of an injury and DH taken out, and of course the A's were leading in that game, and people say, well, why would you do that? Well, because the A's were leading, and so they put Graveman in and did strike out the one time, but went in the history books for the A's with first pitcher to go in as a hitter, as a position in the hitting spot.
So 1-2 the count to Sanchez. These will have Fegley, Rosales, and Joyce. 3 scheduled hitters in the top of the 9th inning.
Joe Girardi managed Mariano Rivera, and there are times, and Joe Torre did too, but there are times that you just bring your closer in the 8th inning, let him get 6 outs, and you know, win is a win if you have a lead. Adam Warren did it.
Strike 3 called. So
Sanchez, you better go back, because you have been the recipient of a lot of strikeouts on the other side, so be careful. And that was a better pitch than probably any of them. 2-seam fastball, probably off the plate, of course.
Just a smidge.
Yeah. But if you're a catcher and you're getting all the pitches that your pitchers have gotten today, and say he reacted, but maybe he said, I better get back. It's hard to know the strike zone today because that man has no clue what it is.
So here's Matt Holliday. Holliday dribbles one foul right at home plate. Holliday, the big 2-run homer in the 6th inning. It was a 1-1 game at the time. In fact, the A's had just tied it, but they could not get a shutdown inning the very next half inning. And it came after a 2-out walk to Sanchez. So Jarrell Cotton got the first 2 outs in that 6th inning, but could not get the last out. There's a strike.
Now this is 89, and he is all over an 89 cutter that just stayed right in the middle of the plate. Perfect velocity for Matt Holliday.
got to swing.
What's wrong with the pitch?
So Holiday said he went around.
Oh, man. It's kind of comical.
So 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Pitch cast. See, that's a ball off the plate according to the pitch cast, and I don't think he swung, did he?
It was close. Got to be a strike in there somewhere.
That's right. But the first base umpire, that Will Little had to defer to him.
So here's Castro with 2 outs. And the first pitch runs a little bit up and in to Castro. Sac fly in the first, fly ball to center in the 4th, single in the 6th for Starlin Castro. There's a strike. Castro can't believe it. He thought that was high, and it probably was.
Is that a strike? Of course it was. Okay.
Reach for that one. So Axford, 96 miles an hour. It actually had a little cutting action to it. Fegley sets up on the outside corner, and Axford just off the plate at 98 miles an hour. Aaron Judge would be next. The Yankees only have 2 hits in this game. They have more runs than hits, which you just don't see in a big league game very often. Pinder has it. So Axford has a good inning. Last shot for the A's. They'll have to do it against Stellan Betances. Fegley, Rosales, and Joyce coming up.
Josh Fegley, first pitch fastball from CC Sabathia, a fastball up in the zone. Number 2 for Josh Fegley on the fastball first pitch. So the 2 home runs he's hit, first pitch fastballs. See if he can do it again against Betances. Says he probably will get a breaking pitch.
First pitch, slider is off the plate. Wonder, Ray, if the way Betances sets up, you mentioned it, where he sets up like he's going to crossfire. He really doesn't.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's a little distracting for a hitter. He does not throw across his body. If you watch where his front foot lands when he throws,
Yeah.
he straightens out pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
And he's a direct line right to home plate. But the setup, when you standing in the batter's box and you're looking, I think it could be a little distracting.
Yeah, and especially when you see him finish square to the plate.
Look at that. Now he's literally facing the A's dugout. Good swing there by Fegley on a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. So that's Chad Green. One and two to Fegley. Fegley also has a single, so he is 2 for 3. Rosales waiting in the on-deck circle. Betances is just one of those guys you just don't want to get behind in the count. And that's a fastball that runs in. Something popped off a glove, or not sure what that was. Let me give it to the catcher. He's throwing so hard that he knocked the protection, the thumb or the
finger, index finger.
You know what? That's throwing pretty hard.
It came right through and off his finger is outside the glove on his index finger.
Left field. Gardner over, and Gardner's got it. Fegley just out in front a little bit. Could not really get his bottom half into that swing.
Hanging breaking ball, 87, middle of the plate, and maybe a little bit off the end of the bat and just out in front. And a fastball was not going to get a chance to get with a fastball.
So here's Adam Rosales. So you may be asking, well, what has he got on his thumb, the catcher? Well, it's just protection, right?
It's on his index finger that sticks out of the glove.
Yeah.
But it's because, and he got the padding because guys that throw hard, if you have very little padding in your glove, it gets your index finger and the area right below the bottom of the index finger. So it's a little added protection. He's wearing a batting glove too, so that's really a lot of protection that he has.
So as always, A's post-game live presented by State Farm coming up right at the end of the ball game. Plenty, and I mean plenty, to talk about in this game.
Take it back. What I was saying, what I thought was a batting glove, he is not wearing a batting glove. It's strictly a protection on his index finger.
2-1 now to Rosales.
Liam Hendricks would love to get in the game. That would mean the Yankees would have to hit in the bottom of the ninth. Right now, the A's have 2 outs remaining. Remember, Joyce stayed in the game. Rajay, of course, pinched hit for Rajay Davis. So you do have a lefty Joyce coming up following Adam Rosales.
Slowly, Torres has it, throws across, and they get Rosales on a close play. 2 outs.
So you're saying a lot to talk about because?
Because those guys in the studio are
that good.
Awesome.
Torres had to charge and then made a low throw, and Chris caught him the long stretch. Tried to get it, the good hop, without a short hop, and he did, but then made a low throw. But Chris Carter, very tall and able to stretch out. Well, how about hanging a breaking ball for Matt Joyce and hooking around the right field foul line and about 314 feet down the corner. That's all right. Always time for the first one.
So the first pitch is low.
Sometime TMI, too much information. 0 for 7 punch outs, but there's always that silver lining. Sometimes can happen.
Fastball inside corner at 100 miles an hour. First strike. Joyce could get aboard. Canha would hit. Another slider that's in the dirt. 2-1 the count.
I'd love to see Canha hit and get on base and then find out who's going to hit for the pitcher, because Lowry's spot is right there. So right now it's John Axford in the third spot.
You don't think Axford would get in that bat?
No. Stephen Vogt's got a bat. He'd love to. And
slider is high, and now it's 3-1.
Well, if there's ever a time to sit dead red, now's the time to do it. Looking for a first hit against the hard-throwing Betances, you'd have to figure he's going to throw a heater. Let's see what Sanchez puts down. He's put down a 1. He's going to go to the slider. Wow, he's afraid to throw a 98 fastball. Going to hang a slider.
And Matt Joyce took his ankle guard off. He thought it was ball 4. He's going to have to put it on. It was that high strike again. Here it is. Let's see if it's a strike. It is not a strike.
What's new?
3-2.
What's new? I mean, really, it's counterproductive for the A's today to even think about knowing the strike zone.
Well, that would have put the tying run on base.
And he's going to go breaking ball again. No fastball.
3-2 pitch. Got him swinging. So that's how the game ends, and this will be a very frustrating post game for the Oakland Athletics, as the New York Yankees get just a couple of hits, but when it's all said and done, it was enough, and they even up this series at a game apiece.
And look at the A's bench is not moving because they know of exactly what happened today.
So time of game was 3 hours and 14 minutes. The paid attendance today here at Yankee Stadium, 40,218. Final score, the Yankees 3, the A's 2. A's post-game live presented by State Farm is set to go. Brody, I think I know what you guys are going to talk about.